I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make the man and some pressure make a gemstone. Trying to put $1 to my name like Creflo. Niger boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. But I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's IGBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. Crack no books on the hustle, I was born to grind. Yo, scared of your potential, I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man, of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes is basic, I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip, I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Van Gogh. Get it from my mama hip, so thick that I need tempo. Personality, spicy body banging like a bongo. Cause black women been it since Timbuktu, since Pharaoh. Sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones. If you ain't for the culture, then please stay out of my zone. These little dummy rappers could never grace my headphones. See, I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there. If you want the battle, ain't no problem, say where. I got so much experience, I can't even play fair. But I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing you need endurance to go in. I got mileage on this pen, I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. Turn all of my
guys were checking shoes last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Arthur.
Oi, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Arthur.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love him when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to be here with you guys tonight. Thank you so much for being here. And I see that you guys are talking about Gannon's case already in the chat. And little Miss Sharon, I'm telling you, there are so many comments, mannerisms, phrases that were used. And, you know, no two cases are the same, but it's the patterns in true crime, right, that we're kind of looking out for, or that at least we can identify as just regular people. So, I mean, yeah, it really blew me away, especially kind of the timeline, which I tried to get a condensed version, and my condensed version is an hour long. You guys know me. It's hard for me to put out short content because I think that it builds value as we watch everything transpire. And, you know, Gannon's mom, was so strong, right? And gave her ex-husband strength through it all as well. So they did a great job. So no two cases are the same, but there's so many similarities. I agree, Little Miss Sharon. And Chuchi, thank you so much for being here. Again, guys, we are going to talk about mature content tonight. We're going to talk about Gannon Stauch, and he did not have good things happen to him, not like he deserved to have happened to him. And it's a sad situation, right? And then we get into the circus, right? Welcome to the circus. Like Sebastian Rogers' case, Letitia turns it into a circus. I mean, she's victim blaming Gannon, talking about how he's, you know, likes to use the bathroom in his pants and all this crap, and talks about his stomach issues. I mean, there's so many sick ass twisted similarities, and I can't believe that the Proud Feet are still walking. So in Gannon's story, he has a stepmom, Letitia, which she's not up here for good reason, but she's married to his dad, Al, and then he has a little sister, and then his mother, Landon, at the time. And also Landon had just had a baby, right? So he had two little sisters. Either way, he also had a stepsister who I think I called her Riley last night, and I didn't mean to call her that. So I'm sorry, Django's still jumping around. If you could hear the paws hit the floor on the earbuds there. But either way, he was living in the house with his stepmom and his father the majority of the time. They had custody, living in Colorado, right? And then Al was on some sort of military detail. I forget off the top of my head where exactly he was, but he was training, no less. And so he wasn't home when this all transpired. So Letitia thought she was going to be slick and pull this off, and she didn't. She also tried to plead insanity. And one of the main reasons why we're talking about this tonight again, hello, Brown Eyes Girl, good to see you, is because now Letitia is eligible for a new trial because of an error, a mistake that was made by the same court system who put her away. And in my opinion, they failed Gannon. Right. And that's not to be like, oh, they're horrible people, they meant to do all this. But they just didn't prevent knowledge of a conflict of interest or bias. There can't be that, right? Because she, in my opinion, right, just because it's based on the law, was able to get a new trial and she has cause. Which I hate to say that. You know, I wish I could be like, fuck her, she doesn't deserve anything, right? I mean, night court, right? These parents, this family went through hell. And they're still probably going through hell. You don't ever really get over something horrible like this, right? Or sometimes we don't get over if we lose someone in our family. So I just don't know why they're having to endure this again. And so the only thing that I can think to do is just run a campaign for justice for Gannon twice, right? Let's get him some more justice. And hopefully Letitia doesn't get the notoriety that she's probably searching for. In my opinion. And hello, Detroit Rock City. So good to see you. And Dan is here. Good to see you, Dan. Little Miss Sharon, hello. We just did I was in Jen's live. I was modding tonight, and I was going to hop up on the panel, but I was uploading this video, and YouTube doesn't like red rum, right? If it's said in the video, they're gonna get upset about it, right? So I have to make up these other words, and I just don't want to do that if I'm telling the story, right? Gannon's story, or any of the stories. Hello, Bo. So good to see you. And Seth is here. Hey, guys. Welcome in. Mama, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Also, and thank you, Mama, for watching. I really appreciate it. I think we need to get, awareness around this, and go back over some of this stuff that happened to poor Gannon, because he didn't deserve that. And, you know, he just he's 11 years old when this happens. He's a big brother, very sweet kid. I don't care if he was the orneriest kid on the block. I still don't think he deserved what this monster did to him. But he wasn't. He was just a sweet kid, right? Just loving. I mean, when they played him crying in the courtroom, I'm going to tell you, if I could have went through the screen, I would have. I would have. I don't know how his family did it, because they'd have to put me in a Hannibal Lecter costume. And Witchy Mama is here. So good to see you, Witchy Mama. So, and Witchy Mama, please chime in, because look, I wasn't on YouTube back when this was going on. I was mostly watching the mainstream coverage of it. I might be watching it on YouTube, but mainstream mostly. I didn't follow any other creators. I know a lot of people do deep dives into these cases. So if you guys have extra information, definitely share it. Awareness is the biggest thing. So, but yeah, Little Miss Sharon, it just blows my mind how many. It just blows my mind. Did you see how many comments from Gannon's mom's interview that CP and KP copied? I think that they actually watch, some of them. I think some of them watch true crime, and they pay attention too. So hello, Dr. Pepper Princess. So yes. Oh, I watched the whole trial, Dr. Pepper Princess. And that's the thing. Like, I was watching, Vinnie Politan and all of them covering it. I wasn't watching any YouTubers, and I only watched the trial, and it was heartbreaking. You know, it was just absolutely heartbreaking all around. I can't believe that Letitia would put her own daughter back through it. Again, it's completely wrong. So, um, no, Gannon was in Colorado, Dan, and I did a little mini documentary of the beginning. Now, this isn't going to be Gannon's full story, but a lot of what his mom was doing in the beginning is what we expect moms to do, right? And that's to advocate for their kids, let us know who we're looking for, because that's one of the biggest things, right? Because say Gannon did decide to run away, which they thought he was a runaway to begin with, but say they thought he ran away, well, where would we look, right? If you think he ran away, where should we start looking for him? And that would be like, okay, so he likes video games. Would he have gone to an arcade? Would he have done this? Would he have done that? Who are his friends, right? You start looking in. And again, he's 11, but sometimes, kids run the street and they're not supposed to. And, that's part of it. But this was absolutely an inside job, in my opinion. Now, of course, we're going to have to say allegedly with this one again, because she's got herself a new trial. But hello, Kiki. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely horrific. Um, what was done to Gannon? Hello, Sasha. And the manipulation of Letitia. She is very highly manipulative, dangerous as hell, in my opinion. Miss Ann, so good to see you. I want to know the timeline of when Ellie changed from Runaway. Well, I have both of the flyers, Little Miss Sharon. I went and grabbed up both of the flyers. I don't know an exact time frame, but I would like to find that out as well. I think that's smart, because, I mean, I don't think it took them long. See, they had camera footage from the neighbor. So, you know, obviously that's what really breaks these cases wide open. Hey, Justice Jane. So, I mean, the thing is that they had, well, and also in this case, the police used Al as leverage against Letitia, which I was listening to some of those again, and she's telling them all kinds of stuff. It was some Mexican dude. It was Uncle Matt. It was this guy. It was that guy. It was this guy. Just completely insane. Like, again, I don't know how he didn't reach to the phone. And you guys know I advocate against partner violence and domestic violence, but like, seriously, seriously. And she knows that the whole time where Gannon is, right? She knows what she did to him. It's wild. It is just wild. I know, Witchy. I think so too, and I think it just gets all of us going again. Witchy says, "Letitia lights my fire up so I may have to sit on my hands at sometimes. That's okay. Hashtag Gannon. Yeah, no, I mean, look, I'm right there. And then I just feel like he was failed by the same system that, got him justice the first time. So I'm confident that they will. I just think about all of the working parts, how much money it's going to cost, how much, the family's going to have to go through that again. And thank you, Justice Jane, for hitting the like button. I mean, it's just all of that. All of that is too much for one family to have to deal with. And, they should just be able to, go in peace as much as they possibly can on with the rest of their life. Um, it's just, I don't know. So I think that we need to start talking about Gannon's case again. So I'm glad that you guys are here. So, and hello, Brad. Good to see you. Sasha says a missing autistic 15-year-old that was lured or triggered to try to leave in the middle of the night and vanish by morning. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. There would be camera footage of it. I mean, even in the Watts case, you can see a little sliver of Mr. Watts loading up his truck, right? And you zoom in on it and you slow it down and you watch it over and over again, like we have with the Texas Roadhouse video and all of that. It's just like the footage in this case with Gannon. I mean, the neighbor has footage of him leaving the house and then not coming back. And then there was something very interesting that someone also said in the video. Like I said, there's a lot of comparisons. Yeah, Tabitha, it sure was. It sure was. And I'm just hoping that, this will be fast. Maybe they'll only give her a quick trial. I don't know if they're going to retry everything. I don't know what they're going to do. I do have a clip to show you guys, first of all, just so everybody knows to, what's brought us to start talking about Gannon again because of this well, it was a bad move. It just was a bad move, I can't sit here and say, well, the police need to do better when the judges and, the DAs and all of the people that are supposed to carry this out drop the ball, and she's totally evil, Bonnie's Journey. Yeah, I mean, she just is. She is really, as it unfolds, because I do want to show you guys, the trial and some of the things she was saying again, really mirror, and then you could tell when someone's lying, right? And then you're thinking, oh my gosh, Chris and Katie have pulled some shit like this, not with any kind of wild stories, but just the fact that they're just saying Sebastian went to bed and then he just poof in the middle of the night vanished. We all know, and I love when Landon says that in here. She goes, we know that's not how this shit works, right? She didn't say shit. I said shit. But that's not how this shit works. It's not. The children do not just vanish. There's not some sort of evil goblin that steals children. The aliens are not coming to steal our children. Many times this is an inside job. Many times it's not. It's lured, you're lured offline. The kids are, and we talk about that a lot here because I really believe that's how they get to a lot of kids. Um, but that is not what we're dealing with here, and I fear that that's not what we're dealing with in Sebastian's case when we look at so many similarities. But we'll get into that. Oh, thanks, Brad. I don't know. Well, thank you. I appreciate you being here. And no, I'll tell you, I posted something. If you guys want to really get a good laugh in on JLR, go on over to my post. I'm not gonna put it in Gannon's show, but we'll do it. We'll do a little live or maybe like a video. Maybe I'll make up an AI song or something. Because for him to manipulate Magnolia with that, I'm crying right now. Oh, I mean, that just makes me want to do a whole live show roasting guys like that because that's exactly the shit that makes you stay with them for a decade. I swear. Oh my gosh, Holly, so good to see you. But yeah, and I'm not saying that women don't do that either. Like it happens on both ends, absolutely. Um, so yeah, well, Sasha, I think a lot of it too is the fact that there is a disdain for the child. Right, which how can you have disdain for Ganon? Like, this picture is so cute of him. There's so many really, really good cute pictures out there. A lot of them are in the video. Um, I just don't know what was the big issue, right? But then you find out that she's literally a monster and she's batshit crazy, and we don't even really need to try to figure her out. And then they do this, so I mean, I'm not saying aliens aren't real. I'm just saying I don't think they're stealing our kids. I mean, kids are a lot to deal with, and I don't know that aliens are trying to steal the kids. So you got to take care of kids. I mean, are the aliens caregivers to these children? I can see maybe if they're trying to take them to brainwash them or something like that, that theory might work out. But no, I just we know that's not. We could take that at least off the table when it comes to these cases and say, no, they didn't just disappear. Um, okay, so a bunch of shits is what I named this one. Let me go ahead and get this pulled up. But yeah, I mean, that's what they want us to believe in these cases. And I think that's what's so hard is that I just can't accept that. So whoever's with the child last is usually the person you look at first.
Your life is chaotic.
It's a disappointing ruling, but
Hate someone, right? It's not because of a hatred. It's because you know that their actions are wrong and you can't allow for them to hurt a child and get away with that, right? So, and also when they refuse to say what happened to the child, right? Whether they put them somewhere or whether they did something horrible. So, this is again why we're talking about Gannon's case again, because appeals court has overturned Letitia Stauch's murder conviction. Red rum, red rum.
it's a disappointing ruling, but I think it's a correct ruling.
A bombshell in the Colorado Court of Appeals. Judges tossing Letitia Stauch's 2023 conviction for the murder of her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon, over one member of the jury who decided her fate.
A father-in-law of a deputy district attorney sat on the jury.
Colorado Springs defense attorney Jeremy Lowe says it's a decision other lawyers like himself expected.
The law was...
And they also brought it into court that, they did bring it up. Everyone was aware of it. The judge allowed for it. Everything went forward. And this is her loophole.
It's very clear that when the elected district attorney is prosecuting the case, no family member of one of his deputies shall serve on the jury.
During jury selection, this juror, described in the ruling as Juror MB, disclosed that he was the father-in-law of a deputy DA in DA Michael Allen's office. Stauch said,
okay, so, and he also disclosed the information. Again, I just want to point that out. And, you know, the attorneys tried at the time to challenge it.
Attorneys at the time challenged the juror for cause, arguing state law prohibits someone who's related to either party from sitting on a jury. But prosecutors objected, and the judge agreed to keep Juror MB on the case. Former Denver DA Mitch Morrissey says it appears the judge had a lapse of judgment.
What the judge should have done is gone to the statute and looked at it. And I think that judges sometimes pick so many juries. They think they know everything as far as the rules go. And this is one that just got by the judge.
Morrissey.
Oh my gosh. And it just makes me so angry. I'm not angry with this guy, but I'm just saying, like, oh, well, it just got past them. You know, I don't know. These old sons of bitches on the jury, you know, I mean, as a judge, that, and we do see them. They're a lot of them don't understand technology as well as they should. They don't understand a lot of things as well as they should, obviously, and the law needs to be one of them. I mean, if you're going to make a decision like that in a high profile case like this one, where this lady's trying everything she can, I'm crazy, I'm multiple personality, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, you know, she's going back and forth. Unbelievable. They should have just booted the juror.
Successor, former Denver DA Beth McCann, says the prosecutor on the case should have agreed to the challenge.
And so to me, it's not worth taking the risk that you might have this result. So why would you take that risk in a first-degree murder case?
The fourth judicial DA told 9 News that they are currently discussing with the AG whether to appeal this decision to the state Supreme Court or just proceed to retrying the case. All 3 experts we talked to today say a Supreme Court appeal is a long shot.
I would imagine there'll be a discussion about whether it's worth wasting in my opinion, wasting everybody's time to take an appeal when it seems to be pretty clear.
I mean, the evidence seems to be pretty clear. I agree with this lady. They never should have taken the risk. You know, we talked about that also yesterday. Yeah, no. No, we'll see. We'll see what transpires, but I don't see her getting out.
Letitia Stauch's defense team argued that she was psychotic at the time of this killing, so the details of a retrial are likely to focus on that all over again.
Oh, gee whiz. Now we get crazy Letitia again. Are you guys ready for this? Because really, this is going to be some true fuckery at its finest. You remember the shit show she caused? All that is unseen. Good to see you. She's a POS for having asked for a second take. Yep. Then did, yeah. And then did the fake, in my opinion. Yeah. And here's the thing. Now she's going to get up there and God only knows what kind of shit she's going to pull. You know? Unbelievable. I hope they don't give her much time. I mean, I would think, well, I don't know. I don't want to be too premature with my thoughts on this, but I just don't see how she's going to get out. And again, she's a candidate for Wood Chipper Island, in my opinion.
Both McCann and Morrissey told me prosecutors will be ready for retrial. Live in the studio, Steve Steger, 9 News.
This is perplexing on so many levels because
Ooh, look at this guy. He's like, this is perplexing. Yeah, it is. Fucking A right, it's perplexing.
I would think that we've all covered a lot of cases, but I would think that even if you're not in the legal system, haven't covered any cases, you would scratch your head and say, why was this allowed?
When you cover,
I don't even have to cover a case to know that this is some bullshit right here. Good night. If you just, all you have to do is start searching Letitia Stauch or Gannon Stauch's case, right? And just listen to the way that her husband had to talk to her. And then she's screaming at him, how could you ask me that? Nah, of course. Well, because you're the last one with him. There's Oh, I mean, there's just so much evidence.
Cover high-profile cases. There was a dissent in this opinion. One of the judges on the panel felt that the defense should have used their preemptory challenge to get rid of this juror. If they challenged it for cause and that was denied, that they should have taken the extra step. But several attorneys we talked to today said that's an unreasonable expectation for the defense to have to waste a preemptory challenge on someone when, you know, the judge should have excused that juror for cause to begin.
Okay, great. So, you know, you don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be even anyone who's been to court before, and you can take that away from the situation. You know, cover all your bases. Why would you leave something open like that? Good night, Miss Anne. And Tabitha, you're absolutely right. It has nothing to do with the evidence against her. It has everything to do with the fact that they let somebody on the jury that could have been biased or has, you know, someone that they know, right, who is prosecuting her. So that's, you know, they should have just put the kibosh on it right there. You know, but she is absolutely, you know, going to try to use it to her advantage.
And that was a case that it felt like it took so long to get to the actual trial itself and the amount of money and time spent on that case. And it was awful. I can't imagine what it was like to listen to that testimony and for everybody involved to hear it again and again.
It was
I mean, that's where I'm at with things too. I thought about that absolutely first off. Yeah, she's going to, you know, get over on the technicality. She's finding a loophole in there, like, okay, well, let's see if this will stick, you know? Such as hell no, absolutely not. But yeah, I mean, look, it was a horrible trial to watch. You know, her family members were like, why, Tisha, why? You know, I mean, it was awful. And then on top of it, you have the parents, the family that's going through it every day. And she's willing to put every single person through that again because she wants to see if she might be able to get some time off or something. You know, she doesn't care. It's all about her. She proved that right in the first trial.
Horrific case at the time, made national headlines, took 3 years to get to court, 3 years to get that resolution for the family. Stauch's family said today they obviously are not looking forward to having to hear this all over again.
Ugh.
They just want justice.
I can't even imagine that. All right, thanks.
Yeah, they just want justice for Gannon. That's all they wanted to begin with. I mean, here's this. They wanted Gannon. Maybe if she never would have done that, you know? It's so sad, Mama. It's so sad, you know? And it's like, it's awful to know that she is doing it all over again to them. And it's everyone. It's anybody that had to come in and testify, because I'm sure they'll bring people back in. You know, it's horrible. So I made this video today for Gannon and his family, just, you know, as a recap. And then also I think people need to be aware of what this person is trying to do, because I think the pressure also is a big part of it, right? And people knowing about it. And then I also thought, hey, this would be a good opportunity because oddly enough, I was looking back at Gannon's case. A lot of what was done in Sebastian's case, like when she refused to look at the cameras, right? Just like the proud feet and the sausage fingers interview, or the only hands interview, I call it, right? They're just sitting there. They don't want to be on camera because they're, quote, too emotional, yet there they are, right? But this time they got her on there, you know, she's like, can I do that over again? And then the public apology that she demands, like Mr. Proudfoot has several times. So yeah, exactly. They enlist help from the spouses or each other. Remember harmony. Yeah, and that's the thing here. I think that's another big similarity, even though the, you know, gender roles are reversed, right? We have a stepmom and a biological dad in the house, right? And then the biological mother, right? They have kids in common, so they, you know, share custody. And this person is around the kids. There's something that she protected Gannon's little sister and not Gannon. Something was going on, and again, I don't want to get too far, down the road, because I kind of want to just do a deep dive in, but there was something that she did not like about Gannon, that she wanted to hurt Al. Another, common theme is wanting to hurt the other spouse. In this case, we don't see Al, being with Letitia and standing by her and having the guilty knowledge. In Sebastian's case, I believe there is guilty knowledge, absolutely, by Chris and Katie. I think they work together, as you're saying, Sasha. So, oh, I know, and he has another little sister that never get to see, meet her big brother, or know him like that, because she was so little when, he was taken. So, oh, there you go. Detroit, you're cooking. Detroit's always cooking. No worries, Detroit. I'm glad you're here. I hope you guys have great plans for Easter too, as well. And I hate to, bring us down around Easter time, but, again, I think Gannon deserves justice. Yeah, Harmony Montgomery's a nobody case. Vaughn, nobody case. Nobody case C. Yep, it's possible. I know it really is possible. And in Tennessee, there's a lot of them as well, in Tennessee alone. So yeah, she put him in the suitcase and threw him over the side of a bridge as if he would just float away. Yeah, I just can't imagine the kind of hell that it's going to rain upon these people that could do such a thing. Um, yeah, yeah, they moved him, and I think that when we're dealing with somebody who's smaller, that's a high possibility also. Um, because I mean, I've often thought that in many of the cases. So. Yeah, I think she wanted to hurt. Well, and we'll definitely get into that, Mama, because I believe that too. Mama says I think she wanted to hurt his mom. Yeah. Um, we'll kind of get more into that dynamic as well. Um, because like as the story unfolds, we kind of learn more and more about that and how that relationship came to be. And I know that Al faced a lot of scrutiny over, and I was one too, just like yelling at my TV and stuff at certain points. But then I also recognize that, it's better for everybody to work together. So even though we know the whys of a situation, it shouldn't, hinder trying to find the missing, the one who's missing. So I'm glad that they were able to come together like that. But there's so many dynamics, Mama, in there too, that are just, the causes, the whys, and then just the disdain for this poor child. And again, I just don't understand it. But okay, so here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll get this started. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here, coming at you with another raw narrative. Today we will be discussing Gannon's story. G-Man grew to become all of our hero. Now, years after his stepmomster was brought to justice, the same court system failed Gannon Stauch. He never deserved any of this, not one single bit of it. Let's watch.
There is a search taking place for an 11-year-old boy by the name of Gannon Stauch. He disappeared Monday, and police first thought that he was a runaway. But during an emotional briefing today, police and the boy's parents revealed new information. They don't think that Gannon ran away, and now they think that he's in danger. Dominic Garcia is in the Springs tonight for us. And Dominic, the FBI could get involved in this case now.
Karen, there is a big sense of urgency to find this boy. Law enforcement does not hold press conferences like this unless this is considered very serious. In addition to law enforcement tonight, We also heard from this boy's mom, who, as you can imagine, just wants her son back.
My son is a very loving kid. He wouldn't want harm on anybody at all. And it's so hard to just think, why is this happening to him? I have no clue. But my kid deserves to come home.
Now, Gannon first went missing on Monday in the 6,000 block of Mandan Drive in Colorado Springs. At that time, he was just considered a runaway.
Okay, so here's the runaway flyer, guys. I just wanted to pop in on that. So, yeah, it's definitely says a runaway, and this is El Paso County, right? Deputy Sheriff, and it gives the phone number. And, you know, I don't think that there's more witnesses to come out, but if there is someone that's hiding information, let them know. I mean, let's get, you know, another conviction, make sure it's solid this time. Hey, Andrea, good to see you. I know it's terrible. I think it's terrible. It's really disgusting. Or she says, I'm really disgusted with the judge on this case. He was advised of this beforehand, for fuck's sake. I know. Yeah, I'm so angry, that poor family. I know. And it's going over it all over again. It's like, yeah, I think it's terrible. So it does look like on Wednesday, February 5th, this came out. So Gannon was originally reported missing on January 27th, 2020. And this is, you know, as of February 5th. So even pretty far in, I would say even the first couple of weeks, I think, because I know Miss Sharon was asking earlier that, you know, they were thinking he was a runaway. 11 years old, only weighing 90 pounds, you know, just terrible. So yeah, it says this internet advisory accessed on Wednesday, February 5th, 2020 from El Paso County Sheriff's Office shows Gannon Stauch of Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Tuesday, investigators with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office ramped up their search. They started doing more canvassing, even collecting surveillance video. Then today, this was upgraded from a runaway case to an endangered child case. That is for a number of reasons, mainly the amount of time that's gone by, the fact that this boy is only 11, the cold weather down here, and also he takes medication that he needs. The FBI has been requested to try and help find this boy. The sheriff's office is doing all they can, and so have hundreds of the general public. That is something this boy's father is extremely thankful for.
Yeah,
Okay, so, and again, guys, you know, with the medications that are needed, that, you know, typically that would be a cause for concern, right? Especially if they're gone and their medications are there, all their stuff is there. That's a major concern. So, oh yeah, I know, drove miles and miles with Gannon and her daughter in tow as well. Absolutely insane. But then again, I know that she's not insane.
At my front door, I think it was Tuesday, and there was 300 people out there searching my neighborhood. They blew me away. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. Again, and Daddy loves you so much. Please come home.
Okay, guys. So, I mean, you know, again, I don't know how she could do it to them. Like, I understand that there's a lot of people on this planet that enjoy hurting other people and they get pleasure off of it, right? They get off on hurting other people. But I don't know how you could claim to love somebody and watch even your ex fall apart just like that. You know, that's terrible. I mean, that is just pure evil. Um, and Kiki, he was taking medications for, I want to say he was having like stomach issues at times where he one of his medications, and I think his mom mentions it, was giving him trouble, like, because sometimes you get stopped up from stuff like that, and she was giving them Letitia was giving him Miralax and things like that for it. But she was also, using it against him. I mean, this lady is so sick and twisted, you guys. It is a whole rabbit hole to go down. If we don't watch all of this, everyone should go watch it. It's really good. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, all that is unseen. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to put this all together, and I still have some more clips, but I started running it like an hour, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to make it that long. Um, but I wanted it to be, kind of what all his family did to try to find him. And then, behind the scenes, Al was working with the police as well, because now, as they were saying here, the FBI gets brought into the mix. And again, it would have absolutely been an FBI case because she literally drove thousands of miles with Gannon.
So again, this boy's name is Gannon Stauch. He's only 11 years old. If you have any information, you are asked to call law enforcement. They are going to be following up on every lead.
I'm Landon Hyatt, Ganon's mom, and I encourage you guys, I know many of you mothers and fathers, I encourage you just to find him. I'm so thankful for all the outpouring help that this case has brought. My son is a very loving kid. He wouldn't want harm on anybody at all. And it's so hard to just think, why is this happening to him? I have no clue. But my kid deserves to come home. My kid has a purpose. My kid has a life. And it's important to me. And it's important to everybody that's standing in this room. Gannon, Bubba, little man, mommy's hero, wherever you're at, mommy and daddy's here. We're begging and pleading for you to come home. I know that's your biggest wish, was to see mommy and daddy standing here. We're here, Bubba. We're here for you, and I can't wait till you're found.
All right, guys, and again, we talk about this a lot, how important it is for, whoever's out there, right, whoever's missing, to see their family, advocating and just standing up for them, telling them, hey, we love you, we miss you, we want you to come home. It's really important. It just is, and it comes naturally. And I agree, Kiki. I think he had, look, our nerves are connected to a lot. And when we're stressed out like that, and I bet you his little tummy was bothering him because of that too. And it just breaks my heart. And Witchy Mama, thank you. She says she was giving way too much Touchirelax. Did I say that? Touchirelax, which caused the problem, if I remember right. And it's like too much Miralax. Thank you. Like, is that a new? Hey, you never know what they come out with. So Miralax, yeah, but he had some other. I think there was some other medication that was causing the constipation, and then like he was needing the Miralax, she was giving him too much. And then, of course, obviously, if you have too much of that, it's a stool softener that you're gonna go more, right? What a fucking evil stepmama, right? Like, she's one for the books here. Because his tummy's already sick. You'd want to make him feel better, but no, I guess not. So I know that, Judge Andrea, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Well, yeah, and the fact that, Harmony was having to sleep in the car too, Sasha. I mean, where else are they going to use the bathroom? I mean, come on. So, I mean, I don't think she was bringing them to the doctor because, there was an incident with a candle. We'll get into it later too, Kiki. And she said that he was burned, but she never took him to the doctor. Like, I don't care if it's a minor burn, you should at least take them in, right? I mean, she didn't even talk about putting burn cream on him or anything. She's like, "Oh, it was a little bubbly." Like, "Oh, just wait. Just wait. This one is a wackadoo from hell." And I mean, there's certain parts that are a little humorous because of the fact that she's actually thinks she's getting one over on other people. So I always like to poke fun at that, because if you're going to insult my intelligence, I'm going to poke fun at you. But like, the just depravity of the situation, we just really will never know what she actually did to Gannon. Because again, I think you're right. The tummy issues, he was probably stressed out, probably scared of Letitia, but also kids love their caregivers. So it's just, I think that she should be charged for being in a position of trust and completely obliterating that trust. All that is unseen says, "I hope the law provides that she stays in jail until next trial is adjudicated." Yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too, and I haven't heard anything about that, because her release, even on bond, would be a huge injustice. Please. Oh, I know. I agree. And also, I think that she's a danger, and I think they can prove that with her little stunt that she pulled, slipping her handcuffs and knocking the lady in the head with her energy drink or whatever. Like, yeah, that was wild. I've never seen anybody that I thought was truly possessed until I saw that. And I was like, there's demons that walk among us, right? Like, that was the proof. I was like, oh, okay, if I ever needed proof, here it is. Which I still can't find that whole video. I was watching that whole video and then I thought to myself, why am I looking for this psycho and not honoring Gannon? So I said, let's do this one first. We got plenty of time to go over this freaking crazy ass nut job. This is horrible. She's swining. Gannon's awesome. Oh, I know, Sasha. So, me too. That's what I'm hoping for, Holly. I am hoping for the same. The whole thing with the candles was so sad. She made him feel so bad. I wanted to jump through the screen when they were playing that at trial. I mean, just the fact that she enjoyed being in that position of power and holding that over him, it infuriated me. I completely understand. Oh, good to see you, Alicia. Thank you for being here. Yeah, well, and I mean, that's the thing. I know that she is going to carry on with that defense now that it's kind of been talked about. And with that knowledge, I can't even imagine what the kind of crap she's gonna try to pull. I also did find the clip where she was flipping people off at the trial. You guys remember that? That little, where she thought she would be cute and like do the whole deal where she just like, I mean, at a certain point, she was doing it right, like blatantly, right? But at first, she was kind of doing the thing where it was, she was kind of leaning with her finger more prominently, the middle one, out and all of that. And she was flipping people off in the courtroom. I mean, Andrea, I don't even know who has the balls to do that when you're on trial like that. Unbelievable. She just completely, but again, I think she knows exactly what she's doing, and I think it's all on purpose.
Because I have hope that you are going to be found. You are my hero. You are the reason why I have life. He's so special to me. I don't think many people can understand. My child was a 1 pound 6 ounce baby. He had a 10% chance of survival. If he survived, he would be profoundly disabled. None of that is accurate. He's gifted and talented. Do anything for anybody. So I'm begging, I'm pleading, if anybody has any type of lead, put yourself in my situation. Ask yourself, what would you do? My Savior is a great Savior. And I know I have hope. and that my son's going to be here. I'm thankful for the churches, the pastors, the outpouring support from this community, from Albert's military, family, everybody, the detectives. It was you that was sitting at the table, and you told me that 90% success rate, and you told me that I'm going to find Gannon. I believe that. It's the first time I had hope since I got that call on Monday. I have hope. So please have hope with me. I'm begging. Bring my baby home. Bubba, I love you. Mommy loves you so much. Nova loves you. Lena loves you. This room is filled with people that love you, and this community loves you too. So please come home, baby. Please come home.
Okay, guys. So, yeah, they had a huge showing of support, but where is Letitia? I mean, this is a huge red flag right here that she's not there. She's nowhere to be found. She can't be bothered. She can't be bothered. You know, I think it speaks volumes that she's not there. Yes, Kiki, yeah, that's Landon. So Landon is his biological mom, yep, his real mom. And then that is her ex-husband Al, who was married to Letitia, right? So, but they're there, right, saying, "Where's Gannon? We love you. We miss you. You know, bring our boy home if you have him." The whole 9 yards. And they continued to be a united force, right? I mean, as much as they can be when they're divorced, but they did a really great job. All that is unseen. Oh yeah. Yeah, Landon always just advocated for her son just effortlessly. And when you see how she does this and she's so strong, it makes you wonder where Katie is, right? And that's the reason why I think it's very hard to believe her story. It's very hard to believe anything that comes out of her mouth because we're about to witness the same behaviors in Letitia Stauch, who we know has already been convicted once. So, and you know, it really shows how strong women are. Um, and no shade to Al. I'm just saying, you know, emotionally, he's falling apart, and Landon is up there speaking, and so you know, I have to commend her for that.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate what Landon said, that what an incredible community we have. I mean, everybody in here, in a team, incredible team that yeah, I came out my front door, I think it was Tuesday, and there was 300 people out there searching my neighborhood. It blew me away. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. Again, and Daddy loves you so much. Please come home.
Missing for more than a week. It seemed like he just vanished in midair. It's like he couldn't vanish.
Tonight, a neighbor's surveillance video is bringing new clues to the disappearance of 11-year-old Gannon Stauch.
That was
Okay, guys. So, you know, I agree with this neighbor here. He's like, hey, he didn't just disappear, right? And I have some footage. So, this again, I think really broke the case wide open and really put pressure on Letitia, right? And yes, Andrea, it's absolutely been alleged, yeah, that Al, they were all on the same softball team, if I can remember correctly. And Letitia and Al, you know, kind of fell for each other, caught feelings, however you want to put it. And then they ended up being together. So yeah. I do think that he got fooled. And again, I'm sure Letitia wasn't acting like a nut back then, right? She was probably trying to be cute. I remember there was a photo of them Letitia always likes to do the fish lips in every single picture that she does. You know, she likes to put her lips out and stuff and be weird. So, you know, that's mostly what I remember of her. Um, you know, so yeah, that was the story that I heard. And again, I'm still gathering clips together because I know that was something that was explained. Um, you know, so just reminded me of like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard because he also left a relationship to get into another one. It wasn't always greener, and so I was like, oh boy. Yeah, oh my, I mean, no doubt about it, Kiki. Like, I'm seriously fighting back tears with Al because, you know, well, both of them, but you know, it's so sad when he says daddy loves you. And I mean, I just can't imagine. It makes me sick to my stomach to know that they're doing this to him again, to Landon again, to Lena again, right? Because that's her big brother and she remembers. So, in my opinion, she's old enough to remember that kind of stuff. Maybe not everything, but I'm sure they've kept his memory alive. Kiki says, I'm sure he loves his son, but men trust women too much because men don't usually watch children as well. Because most women have an instinct. Yeah, I get what you're saying too, Kiki. And I think also, you know, he because of his job, he was in the military, so he would go off for training and stuff. So I'm sure it was just kind of another day of training or another time that he had to go on a work trip type of a thing. And he wasn't even really thinking. But again, here's this work trip, you know, and everything goes on during the work trip. But I don't think that Al had anything to do with it, of course. But then, you know, with Chris and Katie, I do. So, good night, Choochie. Thank you for being here. I know Choochie's got a cold. So, I hope you feel better, girl. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I get that. And I think that women choose men over their kids too. Like I think Katie did, in my opinion. Um, with Al, yeah, I think he was very trusting. Even Landon will say later that she trusted Letitia. You know, she really trusted her, thought, you know, because both of the kids, Landon and Lena, were with them, you know, the majority of the time. So she had to have, with both of her babies, you know, trusting that lady. I mean, she had to have. Which I don't know that I would have that trust for a mistress, so to speak. I don't know. I don't know what I would think of that. Because you know, they were supposed to be like friends, you know, all on the same softball team. So, and then on the co-parenting team. So,
Video they need, that's the break they need.
And the man who turned it over says it raises some serious questions about who was involved.
She was lying.
Tonight, that new video could break open the case of a missing 11-year-old in El Paso County.
Gannon Stauch now missing for 8 days. His stepmother first reported him missing last Monday after she says he went running to a friend's house.
Well, tonight, the neighbor surveillance video is raising questions. He says it shows Gannon's stepmother, Letitia Stauch, getting into a truck with Gannon and later returning without him. And the video could change the timeline of events.
Investigators are now looking at that video.
Yes, that video was given to investigators here at the El Paso County Sheriff's Office yesterday, the same day that crime scene investigators were back out at the house looking for new evidence. And if that video shows what the neighbor who took it says it does, it could change everything.
That morning when I saw her back the truck up and him get in.
The neighbor of missing 11-year-old Gannon Stauch says this security video shows the boy getting into a red pickup with his stepmother on the day of his disappearance.
My Xfinity camera, it picked it up. It picked up the young lady taking him, well, it picked up him getting into the vehicle and her taking him off about 10:16 that morning.
4 hours later.
okay, so really quick, and I'll rewind it a tad too. But so it appears to me that when Gannon is being brought out to the truck, he's kind of unstable or he's having some trouble walking, but she's assisting him, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing here. She, backs the truck in, which I feel like is a kind of an awkward maneuver as it is. And then you're helping an 11-year-old during the day. I mean, did he have too many martinis at lunch? What's happening here, right? Because, I mean, he should be able to walk just fine to the vehicle. And especially because she doesn't go to the hospital or take him. I mean, he does not look well, in my opinion. She's assisting him. He's having trouble with his gait here, but we'll take a look again.
That morning when I saw her back the truck up and him get in.
The neighbor of missing 11-year-old Gannon Stauch says this security video shows the boy getting into a red pickup with his stepmother on the day of his disappearance.
My Xfinity camera, it picked it up. It picked up the young lady taking him, it picked up him getting into the vehicle and her taking him off about 10:16 that morning.
4 hours later,
and then she returned about 2:16 without him.
Gannon was reported missing by his stepmother later that day. A spokesperson for the El Paso County Sheriff's Department tells ABC News they do not dispute the neighbor's description of that video, but wouldn't comment further today.
What we can let you know is that it is in fact a part of our investigation.
Gannon was first reported missing by his stepmother at 6:55 p.m. She said he was last seen at home between 3:15 and 4. That video of her returning home alone was taken around 2:15.
The timeline in this entire case is going to be looked at.
As for who is being looked at, the Sheriff's Department wouldn't comment on suspects or persons of interest. But the neighbor who took this video spoke to investigators when he gave it to them, who told him this.
What did they say to you when you gave it to them? They said that information was very important. That's the break they needed.
Okay, so I don't know if maybe, I don't know if the neighbor should have probably given this out publicly at first, because it seems to me that maybe law enforcement was a little bit sideswiped with, and I could be wrong, but it seems like they knew about the camera footage, but they didn't want it out. And so they were like, of course, we're looking into the timeline, right? But I mean, if the neighbor says about 10:15, they're getting into the vehicle, right? And then they drive off. And then at 2:15, Letitia comes back and there's no Gannon. And then Letitia says the last time she saw Gannon, it was in the house between 3:15 and 4, which is a long time frame. Again, right there, you've messed up big time in the story. Right. And especially when your neighbor has you on camera the way that they do here. So, yeah, exactly. I know all that is unseen. Exactly what an evil person to involve your own children in your despicable acts and, drive around with them knowing this information or thinking they know this information is atrocious, which he says he was burned, hurting and stomach cramps, and she probably told him they were going to the doctor. Yeah, I'm thinking that as well, like that something happened right before that, but then she doesn't go to the doctor. She goes to Petco and some other places, instead. But yeah, he looked like he was not having the best time, right? Like she was kind of like, and then they stop. I noticed too on the second take, and she like tells him something, right? Like maybe he was like, where are we going? Or something like that. Yeah, witchy. So there are no words, Holly. There are no words. The temptress, Sasha says. Wow, see, adultery. Wow, it's horrible. The temptress. Exactly. Yeah, I think that I think she did too. I think that there was way more to what we even know of she seemed like she was torturing Gannon, in my opinion. Um, so yeah. Yeah, Little Miss Sharon, he was. Yeah. Yeah, he was. Um, I know I watched a clip too of Al talking about how the autopsy photos were shared. And, I personally, I don't want to see it. I'm good with the little person that has like the wounds or whatever, so you can see. Obviously, those are the things that you have to be willing to identify if you're looking at a case. Especially now that, it's going to be tried again and things like that. So you do examine those things. But yeah, yeah, they said they charged her with even that as well, using a blunt object or a sharp object. Um, Amber Turd. Letitia and Amber Turd. She gave him the medicine, and you can tell he looked sickly, poor baby. I know, right, Kiki? Yeah, probably, and he had things going on inside because of the meds. Yeah, exactly. And, I think they were at odds or something. I mean, I'm not saying that Gannon was mouthing back or anything like that, but I think that she was, there's just sometimes with these psychos, they'll just continue to nitpick at somebody, right? A scapegoat comes to mind, and I wonder if that was part of, like, Gannon was the problem all the time, because I do think that there is some supporting evidence for that came out. So Detroit says, taking a smoke break. One question I have is why her daughter charged with Oh, why was her daughter charged with lying to the police and obstruction of the investigation? I think her daughter took a plea deal, um, and she testified against her mom. So I'm thinking that is why, because originally they were going to charge her, but then she rolled on her mom, right? She testified against her in court. And I think it was her, well, it was definitely her testimony. She's gonna have to testify again, in my opinion. But it was really her testimony, that because she was with her mom the whole time. So I think that was the smoking gun. Um, and she was one of the star witnesses, so to speak. Oh, it's sickening. It's sickening. And then just wait, Kiki, because this lady is completely wackadoo. And good to see you, Cinderella. Thanks for being here. So yeah, she's a nut from hell. And she always brings the circus with her, she can't help it.
Now, that neighbor, Roderick Drayton, also spoke to ABC News, and he told them that he showed that video to Gannon's father, who then broke down and in tears said, quote, "She lied. She lied about the time. He didn't go to a friend's house."
All right, guys. So when we listen to Al, and we listen to Al and Letitia and their phone conversations, he, at certain points, really wants to believe that his wife didn't hurt his son, right? He really wants to believe his son's out there. He really wants to believe that she didn't hurt him. He really wants to probably, like, wake up from a horrible nightmare. And so, because if I was Al, I would feel that way. I would be like, this is terrible, right? And he's trying to get information out of her. He's trying not to let on that, the police are listening in, even though she keys in on that, right? Or she's paranoid and she says, are the police listening, right? But we'll listen to those calls as well. But within those calls, you can really tell that there's times where he wants to believe her. And when I saw this clip, which I've never seen this clip before, it broke my heart for him, right? Because he really didn't want to believe that she did it and that she was guilty, but he had to take on the role and be in the position where he had to catch her up and he had to be the one to draw the information out of her. Again, I don't know why they've never used this strategy, in my opinion, in the Sebastian Rogers case, because in my opinion, if Seth was able to get on the phone with Katie and only talk to Katie, I think that she would break, in my opinion. But we know that Katie isn't allowed to talk to anybody without Chris being there. Holly, oh my goodness, I know. And that I'm right there. And I think she did know, and I think she was scared probably to death of her mom, because her mom would just like order her around. She was also the one that went and got the cleaning supplies as well. Holly says, I don't know how she did not smell a smell or notice what was going on. Yeah, I think she definitely knew. Well, and she was also, I have the interview where she doesn't show her face in here. And, you know, she corroborated her mother's story as well. Yeah. Yeah, she did that exactly. Thank you, all that is unseen. She says, "Well, your father, or excuse me, what? Well, the daughter lied during the TV interview, so that's obstruction." Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's a strong possibility, Holly. Yeah, that Letitia was angry at Al for being gone all the time, and then took it out on Gannon. Yeah, I think that you know crazy people will always just find that one person, and it's sad because I think Gannon also trusted Letitia and loved her to a certain extent, and I think that's what's the most tragic about it, because you know again, he didn't deserve any of that. Her daughter, I want to say, was 16. She was old enough to drive. Yeah, so exactly. She knew where the fire button was, but not that her mom hurt Gannon. Exactly. Yeah, she knew. I think she absolutely knew. And whether Letitia tried to play it off or not, I just still don't see how she would have been able to hide it, or if it wasn't like a constant thought that was coming up, as they're driving all those miles.
Reporting live tonight in Colorado Springs, I'm Jason Grenauer, Denver 7.
How do I describe my G-Man, my Gannon? Gannon's my hero. I love him so much. He's not only my hero, he has multiple people that call him his hero as well. He has so many family members that just look up to him at such a small age. He's full of life. He's happy. He's energetic. He loves sports. He loves Sonic. He loves going outside, playing with his friends, his sister, his neighbor, especially Braden. This neighborhood basically gives you a true example of who my son is. Everybody coming together, all the smiles that people have. This is why I have hope, because I feel it. This is Gannon truly speaking to our community. Gannon he loves blue, he loves Sonic, he's into coding, he loves riding his bicycle with his sister, and I know that he's missing that right now. He holds his job as being Big Bubba very important, and for him not to be able to talk to his sisters has to be hurting him.
Okay, guys, and also I do want to point out that just like Chris Proudfoot, Gannon's 11, he's into coding, and like as in computer coding, right? So he can write programs and things like that. Like he's very much into that gaming, and he wanted to, work in that field of, of games and things like that. And he was an extremely smart, computer savvy kid. And then you have this fucking moron of a stepmom, right, Letitia, who thinks she knows everything. And I can definitely see, as Gannon is getting older and smarter, them butting heads with each other. And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Big difference in how she describes her son and how Katie, yeah, describes her son. I agree, Brenda. I mean, this was difficult, just putting together all of the pleas that they put out for Gannon. Anytime they were asked to be in front of a camera to advocate or to ask for help, they were right there. So that was another thing. And also during this time, Letitia had not been charged with anything. She's not trying to be next to Al, right? Or anything like that. She's nowhere to be found, just like Katie. This was an interview that was done on YouTube, the one that we're watching right here. And they're all showing themselves, right? They're pleading to the camera because they're hoping that Gannon's out there and he can see it. That's the whole point of doing that. It's not because we all like the way we look, right? And especially, these poor people are at their wits' end. They don't know where their child is. Um ugh. Kiki says, I'm not being mean, honestly, lady, but the dad looks sickly in the eyes too. Could he had been giving him things in his drinks or food, or him not know, just wondering. Well, I think he was allowing for the fuckery with Letitia. I think that he was leaving the situation as much as he could, probably. I mean, I'm not saying that he can deploy himself. What I'm saying is that I think that he was becoming complacent, but I don't think he had involvement. I mean, hey, we're re-examining the case, so I mean, anything's possible, but no, I get what you're saying, because I wasn't a huge fan of some of the things that unfolded, but in the same way, I think that, you know, I think that Al had to really look inward a lot, because I think he was, again, complacent and just knew that Letitia was crazy and didn't want to have to deal with her, but he thought that she'd never hurt the kids, because she was also a teacher, and things like that. Like, she had worked with kids in the past, and so he's probably thinking like, it's better for me to leave if we're fighting than to stay there, but she's not going to hurt the kids. But then Gannon becomes her scapegoat because she hates Al. And, we find out later that she hates Landon too, because she did some very underhanded, mean, I mean, just rotten shit, calling Landon from Gannon's phone. Um, just some really rotten shit. She's evil. She's pure evil, in my opinion, gets off on hurting others. And Kylie, it's very good to see you. Happy Easter. I know we're not talking about a fun Easter. I wish I was making you guys some cookies with this true crime, but I think, again, I just feel for this family, and I always have. I always have. I just wasn't uh commenting on true crime then. So, but I absolutely followed every single bit of it. And not, the YouTube stuff, just the court TV stuff, and mainstream. But hello, Funtuski. Good evening. Thank you for being here. So, I mean, I'm wondering if Al didn't have an inkling. He says that he didn't, but then again, who would admit to it? Because, people just go off and you know what I mean? But I also think that, like, again, at this point, I think Al wanted to believe Letitia. I think he thought that maybe there was just an accident, because he brings that up a lot in their conversations. Like, was it an accident? Like, I could understand if it was an accident. Da 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 da. da, You know. Kiki says, I mean, could she have been sneaking things to the dad too and him not know he was taking something, like Letitia giving the meds or something to the dad? I don't know, because he was gone. He was gone for training. So, and he was actually, I know this is so funny because it's like not funny, but not haha funny, but weird, right? That they were both on a work trip, right? Chris was supposedly on a work trip, military, Al's military work trip. Um, but he was absolutely, and like they were saying too, he got support from, I mean, I don't see even military personnel coming out and supporting Katie and Chris. Do you guys? I've never seen anybody or heard of anybody coming out, so. Oh, yeah. Funtuski says, do you realize that Letitia gave major issues in Alaska and Al was resigned to Fort Carson and was not allowed on any base as her military ID was pulled? So, Funtuski, yeah, that is going to be a little bit later in the deep dive, but I do remember there being a lot of issues, right? And Letitia was trying to say, like, look, they took my teaching license because I didn't live in the state and I let it lapse. And that happens, right? But that's not what happened. So she was dishonest about it. And, yeah, I mean, there's so much to this dynamic, right? I mean, just so much. In which he says, I remember there being an issue about her teaching license and not getting a job too, like not showing up or something. Yeah. And I don't think that she was ever, I think she was reprimanded a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken. And then people found that out too. So yeah, Kiki. Yeah. I mean, we're dealing with a real, like, scandalous, raunchy piece of crap in my opinion. Um, I think cognitive dissonance is very possible for him. It's sort of like denial. I think he really was. I think probably when the neighbor showed him the footage, he absolutely was like, holy shit moment, right? Like that's what he needed to see. And yeah, absolutely. Cognitive dissonance. Yeah. And I'm not saying that I'm not faulting him for that, right? Because I mean, I feel like Al is just as much of a victim in all of this. But I do try to call it how I see it, right? And if I'm wrong, I'm gonna be wrong. I mean, at times I'm gonna be right, but there's gonna be some times when I'm wrong too. But I just looking at this case again, um yeah, because I mean, I've watched many of these interviews. Like I said, I had not seen the one where he's talking about, seeing the footage and being like, wow, she lied about the time, because we all know that the time is important, right? Because for there to be any room for error, for there to be any time to do something horrible, and for someone to lie about the time, if we think about that and we apply it to any of these other cases, again, Sebastian Rogers' case, lying about the time is a big deal, right? A very big deal. And again, when they're talking, you can hear how Al is kind of going in and out, where it's like he wants to believe her, but he knows he can't. And every time, she says something, he's like, "Oh, holy shit, you're lying again." It's exhausting. Um, Listening to their phone conversations.
This week has been awful. It's been more than a roller coaster ride. It's been more than emotional mess. I don't even have answers for my feelings other than I'm afraid. I'm afraid that I will never hear his voice, that I'll never hear him run and say, "Mommy," that I'll never hear those corny jokes that he always tells every single day. He has to tell me a joke. He looks forward to telling me something silly. And I'm afraid that I may never see that again or hear it. I don't want to believe that.
And Gannon's just going through his little life, right? calling his mom, making her laugh, being a joy to other people, just going about his day, interested in his games, right? We know that occupies a lot of the time, right? And Letitia just decides that she's going to take him out. I mean, how dare she? How dare she ever do it? There's no excuse for it. It was definitely not an accident. It was all the way intentional. And again, I think that I feel that too, Witchy Mama. She says, I think he didn't want to believe his wife would do something like that. He didn't know she was that crazy. Right. And I think he didn't want to be around her. I mean, I'm sure he probably wouldn't tell me the truth. But if I asked him today, were you trying to get away from Letitia? I won't tell it a soul, but I just think, right. And he probably thought it was healthier if one of them left, if they were fighting. That's just one of my theories. But it seems reasonable, and also because he worked out of town, it's like, a little vacation from crazy. And and again, yeah, didn't think she was that crazy. So, but not in the courtroom definition, right? Kylie says she's definitely crazy, in my opinion. Did anyone do an analysis video like Deception Detective? Oh, I don't think he's ever looked at the Stauch case. I would like him to, because I would definitely review his analysis. Yeah, I don't know. And that's the thing that I like too about the way a lot of YouTubers analyze the videos and things like that. So that'll be something interesting we can add in too, should he decide to, or if we find something interesting to review. So yeah, the timeline's everything. The timeline is everything. And that's why I thought, let's go back over this. And again, that's why I'm creating the Discord for us as well. For Sebastian, going back to the beginning, even more so starting with the timeline of the CPS reports. Even though we don't know what's in them, we don't have to know. We know it's bad, right? That's pretty much all we need to know, is we know it's bad. He did Funtuski. I've never saw that one. Okay, so Peter Hyatt did an episode on Letitia when he was still alive. Wow. Okay, well, now we know who we need to review. Thank you, Funtuski. Wow, that's great. Was the mom physically unable to take care of him? I don't remember why she didn't have him with her. So both of them were living with Al, and I don't remember if it was something where because I know she just had a baby. I know that Landon just had a baby before Gannon went missing. So I don't know if it was because she was going to have the baby and maybe she sent them to live with Al and Letitia. I can't remember off the top of my head. That's a good question though, Detroit. Yeah. Because and I don't know if it was because he was stationed. A lot of times too, I think with military families, they're used to that kind of arrangement. But yeah, and if you guys know in the chat, which you might know that one. I learned so much from the analysis videos you have picked. Thank you. Thank you very much. All that is unseen. I love doing the analysis of analyses. Right? Or like reviewing them, because it's cool, especially the one with Fox that we did, Jack Fox, Never a Truer Word, because he writes out all of the words from the interviews, and I think that's so cool. Just to see it in writing is so much different than hearing it. So, okay, so yeah, Stephanie Harlow did do a good deep dive. I actually did watch. See, I watched Stephanie Harlow. I used to watch her a lot for true crime, because she tells a story and I like the way she does it. And then Grizzly, yes. We were gonna go over Grizzly's live. I shared it, but we didn't get to it the other day because there was so much going on yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Funtuski says, I believe that Al knew that Letitia was crazy after Alaska, and he started to treat Letitia like a babysitter, especially after the cruise. And Landon had pregnancy problems and had to have. Oh, okay, that's what it was. Have been in the hospital. Oh, I gotcha. Thank you, Funtuski. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, and I didn't want to misquote it. So thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, so I agree there. I mean, there's always kind of issues that lead up to these situations. Um, and I think you're right. I think that, well, and I'm not trying to dog Al, but he's a ladies' man, right? Like he's definitely a ladies' man, and he probably was kind of like on the way out. I agree. Um, you know, and then the cruise, yeah. So, but thank you for letting us know about that because I was wondering about um I couldn't quite remember. No one of the five wives, but one besides KP, none of the filthy roommates either. Very odd. Well, and it's funny because again, CP's had the five marriages. I can't remember if Al had a lot of marriages or not. I don't think he had a lot of marriages. Um, but definitely a ladies' man. Um, yeah, me too. I love him. I love him. I know. Well, I mean, sometimes it's like we watch what we see though, or we gather understanding from what we're seeing or what we're hearing, right? And that's why a lot of times I like going into the YouTube deep dives because sometimes these creators have gone in and really looked into everything and have gotten more information than is out there to the general public, that the media they'll do a 5-minute deal on it and it's over with. So I like to take in all of the information and just weigh it out, and then that's what I kind of like to do, for you guys is put that out there, see what you guys have to say about it, what you think. Um, which he says, I can't remember if it was this case or if I'm mixing it up with another one, but I remember something about mental health or self medicating, maybe. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I mean, there may have been a couple of issues, and then I'm sure once she was having the baby, that was another probably, hard time, and I think that's probably it. Yeah. Thank you, Witchy. And also Ann Brock is here. Good to see you. She said she took care of him for 10 years. Oh, Landon did. Yeah. Yeah, Detroit. And Landon had problems with her preterm labor and could have not been able to take care of him, or take care of the other children. Yeah, while being in the hospital. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So, and we will just probably never know what the real story is, but at least if we can get a good idea and some awareness, because again, I just can't believe that this monster is getting another crack at it, you know? Yeah, very stressful jobs, that's true, Richie, and away from each other, military and LE have very high divorce rates. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, guys. This is sad.
Because that means that I'm giving up hope, and I'm not giving up hope because my son is full of hope. So I'm urging anyone that has any leads, credible leads, if you're too afraid because you know something, a kid just doesn't disappear and no one sees him. It's not how this works. So if you have anything that's credible, if you're afraid, don't worry about it. Imagine my son, how afraid he is. Imagine how afraid Gannon is. So please call, please write. If you need to have someone else to do it for you, please do. Because my son deserves to be here. He deserves to be here. Please call the El Paso Sheriff's County. and let them know. And I thank you guys, the community, for what you've done, because this is Gannon. This is who he is. And I thank you guys so much.
When Gannon was born, he weighed only 1 pound and 6 ounces, and even today, he's still our miracle child. He still is. And he's such a happy child, and he just brings life to every party. His smile, even today, is keeping us going. His infectious smile brings me joy every time I think about it. The past 8 days have been, as Landon said, a roller coaster of emotions. Sometimes we jump in for joy because we get an information that we might think is a break in the case, and then the next minute we get we see something or get information that just breaks our heart into a million pieces again. But through all this, just know that your thoughts and your prayers and your messages, keep them coming, because even if we don't respond, we are receiving them, and that has given us strength to get through this. And I do want to say I'm so proud of Lena, my little baby girl here, and of Landon, my children's mother. They've been so strong through this, stronger than I would have ever thought that I could have ever been, and I'm getting strength from them as well. As I said, please keep sending your thoughts and your prayers, because we are receiving them. And if you have any information at all that could help, please reach out to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office with only credible information, but any information that you think may help. Thank you.
Okay, guys, and I think, I'm kind of a softie, you guys know that, but, I'm just like, at least he recognizes, his ex-wife's strength in the situation. She's not, attacking him publicly or anything like that. They're showing each other a whole lot of grace, which is amazing to see, because at the end of the day, they just wanted Gannon back, right? They just wanted him home. And this is what you would expect to see, right? Just coming together. Even though they're separate, but they're together, and that's difficult. And Fontuski says, in my opinion, Gannon was a boy and probably looked like Al, and Letitia had such hate for Al that she took out her aggression on Gannon. And I think that's very true. I think that is a big part of it, and also some of the horrible things that she did to Landon, because she didn't like Landon either. I don't know. I just don't think she could get along with anyone, Letitia. She's just a conniving, evil, see you next Tuesday from HE double hockey sticks.
So much. Good job.
I love you, Baba.
Oh, and I also want to say really quick, guys, that is what, a mom looks like, right? When they're pleading for their child from the rooftops. Like that's what we call, screaming from the rooftops for your child. Anyone that doesn't, feel emotional, I don't know what would make you feel emotional, right? Because here it is, Gannon was reported missing on January 27th, 2020, and here it is February 5th, and he's missing endangered, right? And he's been missing for more than a week, and there's no answers. And then again, you have the family coming out just pleading.
This is the family of a missing 11-year-old boy who has made an impassioned plea for his return. Gannon Stauch disappeared from his Lorson Ranch neighborhood on January 27th. 8 days later, his mother, father, and little sister posted this message.
He holds his job as being Big Bubba very important, and for him not to be able to talk to his sisters has to be hurting him. This week has been awful. It's been more than a roller coaster ride. It's been more than emotional mess. I don't even have answers for my feelings other than I'm afraid. I'm afraid that I will never hear his voice, that I will never hear him run and say, "Mommy."
Please keep sending your thoughts and your prayers, because we are receiving them. And if you have any information at all that could help, please reach out to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office with only credible information, but any information that you think may help. Thank you so much.
Okay, right? And then, you know, Gannon's little sister, she's so sweet. And but here's what a mom looks like. She's over here like, please, right? And I can see Al messing with papers back there. I don't know if he had to write down a statement. I don't know if they wrote their statements down, right? But here's the thing. She was like, F my statement, right? And she's looking right in the camera and she's just begging and pleading, right? Please. I want my son back. And again, we just don't see that with Katie.
I love you, Baba.
Gannon's stepmother reported him missing Monday, January 27th. Neighbors have helped in the search, even using drones, and investigators are also looking at footage from a neighbor's surveillance camera that is considered very important to the case.
The parents of an 11-year-old boy who vanished more than a week ago gives an impassioned plea. They want to find their son. The sheriff's department released the family video even as investigators returned to Gannon's home. We do have a live picture for you of that home now in Fountain. The Metro Crime Lab has also been at the Stauch home, as has the district attorney. Sean Chinnis joins us live at the FBI headquarters tonight. The FBI joined the search just last week, Sean.
Okay, so FBI joins the search very early on, like in Sebastian Rogers' case. But we never see the crime lab, and I think we should have, because when a child goes missing from their own home, that is a crime scene, in my opinion. Okay, just wanted to pop in for that.
Well, Karen, since then, we have certainly seen quite a few developments in this case. Tonight, we're getting the chance to hear from Gannon's parents. They're talking about the hope and heartbreak they have already experienced in this case, and once again, asking the public for their help to try and find their son.
He's my hero. I love him so much.
Joined by his father and sister, Gannon Stauch's mother explained how hard it has been for their family, wondering where he is.
This week has been awful. It's been more than a roller coaster ride. It's been more than emotional mess.
Only 11 years old, he's like so many boys who enjoy Sonic the Hedgehog, but has also taken an interest in coding.
Ew, did you guys see that? Look at this lady. She's always doing a fish face. Not Landon. All right, hold on. I should have paused it really quick here. Aw, and his little sister's face, just so tragic. Look at this fish. A cold fish. There you go, Letitia. Cold fish. Right? And she has the nerve to put up a poster with the two of them on it. I mean, talk about a barf bucket. Jeez Louise. I don't know who made that flyer, but I can guess it was probably Letitia and the fish face. I mean, she does this in many of the photos, except for the ones where she's trying to pretend like she's crazy.
Who enjoys Sonic the Hedgehog, but has also taken an interest in coding. His smile, his jokes, part of their daily routine, they pray will not become memories.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid that I will never hear his voice, that I'll never hear him run and say, "Mommy."
But even with so many ups and downs, they believe he is alive and they will see him again.
I'm not giving up hope because my son is full of hope.
Hundreds of tips coming into the El Paso County Sheriff's Office already, but this family asking for more people to come forward.
Imagine my son, how afraid he is. Imagine how afraid Gannon is.
Fight the fear and help find their son.
My son deserves to be here. He deserves to be here.
Such a happy child, and he just brings life to every party. Your thoughts and your prayers and your messages, keep them coming.
It's a case that's captured the attention of the nation, felt by every member of the family.
I love you, Baba.
And again, multiple agencies involved in this case, including the FBI. But once again, anyone with information that might help find Gannon asked to contact the El Paso County Sheriff's Office.
Morning, and the disappearance of 11-year-old Gannon Stauch.
We're hearing exclusively from his stepmom, the last person to see him before he disappeared.
Okay, so they're like, we're gonna hear from the stepmom, the last person. See how he keys in, right? And he's just a reporter, and he's like the last person to speak with or see Gannon, right? And so Detroit, there was a juror that was a family member of the DA, and they were on the jury and in the first trial, and they decided that it was okay for them to stay on. And now she's asked for a new trial because of that, which obviously she had cause for it to be granted. So now she's filed that appeal with the courts. So they're giving her a new trial. I don't think that they've set any sort of a date for it, but don't quote me on that because I've been working on this today, so I haven't gotten into many of the new things that are going on. You know, I know a lot of people have covered this case, but I think people need to be reminded of all of the horror that she caused, all of the grief, all of the just the nightmares she caused. But yeah, it's really unfortunate because they brought it up in the first trial and they okayed it. So Witchy Mama says, Lady Freedom, do you have all of the jail calls and police interviews? So there were a lot of them, and I started going through some of them last night. So I do want to pull some of those in because as things were unfolding in the public eye behind the scenes, Al was talking to Letitia, but he was recording the calls. I'm sure as soon as they were able to clear Al, then they started using him as leverage against his wife, which is a little bit of a different dynamic than using someone's ex-husband or wife as leverage. But I think it could be used strategically if it was done properly. But again, when we have a dynamic like in Sebastian Rogers' case where you have the mother and stepfather involved and then you have, the other parent, that's what's difficult. Here, it was easy because Al wasn't involved, right? He didn't stand by Letitia or have any guilty knowledge or involvement. So but I'm working on getting all of them because there's there's a lot, and then there's also like FBI interviews with Letitia, and she looks like she's in like a padded room, but it's just like acoustically sound or whatever. There's so many, and then her jail calls were just utterly disgusting. But yes, there's so much to go over in terms of everything that she's tried to do, her conniving, her conjuring up a bunch of bull crap, seeing what's gonna stick. So and Funchewski says Cheryl Judge Warner did not dismiss a juror who was a son-in-law, worked under the DA, prosecutor Allen, conflict of interest and bias. Yeah, thanks, Funchewski. Well said. And, it's really sickening. It makes me sick to think of it because they could have just excused that person. Yeah, they brought it up. They sure did. Yeah. They brought it up. Yeah. Yeah. So everybody knew, everybody was in agreement. Everything was good. And then she brought it up as unfair, So,
Yesterday was Nicole Fierro. She's been following this since he went missing, frankly, and it's been a long 2 weeks. So what do we know? What is she saying?
A very long 2 weeks. I spoke with her on the phone last night. She says she's getting criticism online from all over the world and even death threats. But in a statement exclusively to Fox 31, Letitia Stauch starts by thanking the people who have been searching for Gannon. First and foremost, I would like to thank all agencies, volunteers, and community members who are working diligently and praying endlessly to bring Gannon home safe. Thank you to my husband, who has stayed strong through this and protected our family to the best of his ability, and our immediate and extended family members throughout the East Coast. To Gannon, please come home soon because your daddy is waiting to watch the new Sonic movie that comes out this week. And the cool shirt I got you to wear to the theater, it's in your closet. She told
That is just so creepy. So creepy. Okay, and I also want to point out in her statement too, she talks about everyone helping, but then she talks about thanking her husband, right? But we know that he's, not really speaking with her in terms of they're not working together, but she's trying to portray to the public that they are, right? Like he's still talking to her at this point, but they're not staying in the same house. They're not together, really together, but she's trying to form that togetherness, right, in the public view, right? And then she's saying that he stayed strong through this and protected our family, but she's yelling at him during these phone calls that we're going to hear down the road here. And, she's like, you're not protecting me. I need immunity. Blah. I mean, she's like, really laying it on thick, right? That he's not protecting her. But in the public eye, again, she's portraying a different story. So, to the best of his ability, he's protecting us, our immediate and extended family members throughout the East Coast. And where was Gannon found? Over here on the East Coast in Florida. So, and then to Gannon, please come home. And she's going to talk about this creepy t-shirt, this cool t-shirt that she got him, right? And that there's a new Sonic movie coming out. So it's just really adding insult to injury, right? And that there is this t-shirt in his closet, again, trying to portray that she is there, that her and Al are all good, that she put a cool special t-shirt in his closet for him, which was probably a bunch of baloney. I know. Detroit, I couldn't believe this. Like this yesterday when this came out, and I heard about it, I was like, this can't be happening, right? And then I go and listen to the reason, and I'm like, oh, that's why it's happening. Unbelievable. And again, to know that they had full knowledge of this and could have, easily not taken that risk, and they did it anyway. So it's a big misstep, a big misstep.
Is waiting to watch the new Sonic movie that comes out this week. And the cool shirt I got you to wear to the theater, it's in your closet. She told me social media has been devastating and that it has been a challenge when people are trying to run you off the road, waiting outside your hotel, threatening to kill you, etc.
Oh, just be on alert because this is going to be very reminiscent of Chris and Katie. It's all about them, barely anything about the missing child.
She's asking the sheriff's office to take down some of the pages on social media. Fox 31 got this video from a neighbor who said he turned it over to police when he saw that Gannon didn't get out of Letitia Stauch's truck on the day he went missing. Stauch tells me Gannon was in the truck. Please don't think for a second that there isn't enough of technology to determine shadows and movement around the truck. There was also proof from my phone that we had taken a selfie in the truck in our driveway that was time-stamped.
Well, we can literally see you, though. I mean, it's not even about a shadow. It's about seeing you guys on camera going to the truck. And then she talks about this selfie. I've never, ever saw the selfie she speaks of that she took in the driveway that was time-stamped, right? Because it would have been. If you take a picture on your phone, there's the metadata and all of when it was taken, all of that. So where is it? Of course, it doesn't probably exist, right? So, and we always send pictures to Albert when we are out and about, right? Again, very reminiscent, out and about. Here we go again. When he is away. But then again, this illusion that they're, this close family and, oh, we always send pictures to Albert, whatever.
We always send pictures to Albert when we are out and about when he's away. And Stauch's also asking people to send in tips about suspicious cars or people in the area. A very long statement addressing so many different points that we've been wondering so much about.
Yeah, well, you're going to wonder a lot about this because she's basically setting it up to the news here for Eduardo and, Uncle Matt and the Mexican guy and everybody else, right? She's setting it up here with the news. She's trying to manipulate the entire situation, right? And I'm going to go grab that statement of hers because it's over on their website apparently. But that wasn't the full statement that we just heard. It was parts of it, what the news wanted to share in order to make this piece. But it wasn't her full statement. They do have that available, hopefully still. But I'm going to try to go grab it. But again, she's basically coming up with Letitia's raw narrative, on this. And she's like, hey, we're close and, I got something for you, Gannon. Your dad's going to take you to a movie, all this weird shit, right? And again, I think it's just going to show through as we go through everything that's happening at this time.
Wanting to hear from Ms. Stauch, and she said she felt that her safety was at risk, so she wanted me to read this statement, but she wanted to address several things in this case.
So what's next? I mean, the search is still on.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's still active. Has that shifted? Has that changed over the past couple of days?
Last we talked to the sheriff's office, they told us that it is not shifted. Tips have increased. They aren't drying up. So they are actively doing the searches, but now in more narrowed areas based on tips. I sent them this morning this statement and asked them to comment on this because she brings up new things in the investigation we hadn't heard about before.
So he's still saying pretty tight-lipped about this case. Obviously, you don't want to compromise the
Exactly.
investigation.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much at stake. There's an 11-year-old boy. So I understand that they don't want to tell us much. And this mom, wanting to agree with that, but she said she needed to fill in some gaps because she's getting these death threats. And we'll have that full statement on our website, kdvr.com. You can read the whole thing in its entirety.
Okay. I mean, here's the thing though. I hate to say it because I don't think death threats are nice or necessary or any of that. Like, don't be crazy like that, right, guys? That's should go without saying, but I will put the disclaimer in anyway. So, but the reason why people are going after her so hard is because there is an 11-year-old boy that is missing, right? And at this point, that was more toward the beginning of February, that last clip, right? So now we're at February 21st. And yeah, that's why, because they know that you're staying in a hotel. They know you're coming out with this bullshit, right? But again, in the very same news clip, she just contradicted her statement. The news contradicted her statement for her, right? Because if she's getting death threats outside of her hotel room, then she's definitely not at the house putting t-shirts up for Gannon, right? And her husband isn't protecting her because she's staying in a hotel, and he's not in a hotel. He's staying at his house. But, these liars going to lie. And yes, all that is unseen. That's true. There's often precedents for these laws and rules that govern trials. What the F was the judge thinking? I don't think there's any other recourse but a new trial. Well, I agree. And it sucks. And I think that they should have checked out the other cases, right? Or the statutes and everything. They should have checked everything before. And they didn't, apparently. I mean, they really dropped the ball, right? But then they all agreed to this. So, it's I mean, I personally don't feel like it's a miscarriage of justice for Letitia because I can't put myself there, but this is just the court of public opinion. This is not, our judiciary branch of government, the judicial system. I'm not that. So I don't have to worry about, I could say whatever I want. Right. But, and take it for what you will. But yeah, I mean, I would have to agree. If I'm looking at the law, if I'm looking at how this all transpired, they took a huge risk and they dropped the ball, and then now they're able to get in on the loophole, or someone else said technicality. um so it's rough just thinking that this family has to go through this all over again because of that. Because obviously it what's really difficult about this is that we know that Letitia absolutely carried out these wicked acts, and that doesn't change just because there was a biased juror. But in the same way, we have to keep it fair and judicious, which sucks. I mean, it's horrible. Yeah, we're just night court. We're the public opinion, right? All that is unseen. We can we get to say whatever we want, right? It's like, because I think it does. It again, because I think she's guilty as sin, but again, it doesn't. That's not why they're giving her a new trial. So yeah, it's just really, it's just sucks. Letitia went from Colorado to Kansas and now back to Colorado, and most likely will be sent back to jail in Colorado Springs. Thank God she will not be released. I haven't heard that. So they're not going to release her. I was hoping they wouldn't. I think she's not only a flight risk, but she's an actual risk to anyone who transports her with her performance in the ring on the drive to, what was it, Kansas? Or I think they were driving her to Myrtle Beach or so, I think. Um, but here we go, guys.
People ask, like, how do you stay strong? Because my boy's strong. I got survival in me, and I can't give up.
The day Gannon Stauch was born, doctors told his parents he had a 10% chance of survival.
The first 2 months, I didn't get to hold him.
Every day was a battle to get to her baby.
To hold my baby for the first time. That's what I want to do right now. Just hold my baby.
11 years later, she's fighting to hold him again. It's been 26 days since 11-year-old Gannon Stauch disappeared from his home. Today, a blue ribbon where investigators suspended the search for Gannon in an area they were just digging and sifting through in South Douglas County.
To not see anything sometimes, it just kind of, Gannon wouldn't give up, He didn't give up. And it's not having answers and expecting to wake up, hoping. It gets tough.
Tough. Not knowing where he could be, who may have him, how he's doing.
Normally mommies have answers, or have a Band-Aid to put on a boo-boo. Like, we're the ones that normally handle that.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're a mom, you would think that another mom would be that way, right? Like, you would think another mom would see a little kid, if they need a Band-Aid on their boo-boo, you help them out, right? Because you're a mom too. Like, that's what kills me about Landon, because she thought that Letitia was taking care of her kids, and she wasn't. Sad. And thank you, Witchy. So from Florida to Colorado, yeah, you're probably absolutely right. Like, I was looking all over for that video. I could not find it. I swear I watched it. I'm like going through my history. I'm like, damn, I can't find it anywhere. But it was the full one, not the one that was on at court, right? Because you can see it on the big screen, but it's not the body cam. I watched the body cam not too long ago, and I can't find it because I guess I've watched too many videos. But I'm gonna have to go through and look again, because that was brutal. And she was acting all crazy too. Like, that girl's looking at me, and the girl wasn't even looking at her. I don't know, maybe she was side-eyeing her, maybe, but yeah, we do. All that is unseen, that's what it comes down to. Yeah, we all want our rights upheld. That's what we trust. Yeah, and that's what we have to do to be fair, right? And that's another thing, that's why I've said that about Chris and Katie. It's purely speculative, but when we see these stories and these patterns in true crime and almost the same exact language is being used, I have to point it out or I would go mad, right? Because if I don't point it out, it drives me bananas because I'm sitting here going, there's no way that Letitia talks about out and about, and then Katie says, "We were out and about that day." You know, if I didn't mention it, I would go, "Ah." So, yep, I gotta say it, but then it's more than that. It's the way that you're seeing again, and I hate to say, point people's faces out and stuff, but like with Landon, you can see her frown lines, right? Look, even I mean to her core, her face, her mouth is down, sad, right? She looks worried. You look into her eyes and she has a soul. I mean, it's a big difference. So, you know, and keeping Sebastian's case out there as well, I think it's important to compare some of this stuff or show the similarities. Funchewski says from Myrtle Beach to Colorado Springs that she attacked the deputy in the transport van. Okay, so maybe I had it. I was like, I don't know which one it was, but I was like, I need to find it because I watched it where you could really see her and what her movements were and what she was doing back there. And I was like, that's scary because, again, if she would have been positioned behind the driver, she could have knocked the driver in the head and really hurt that man. And these people, but she was going after that chick right next to her. And, I just have a feeling that if she was able to, I mean, the good thing is she was outnumbered. We'll just say that. But sometimes crazy people are hard to control. So, yeah, that was brutal. Dr. Pepper Princess. Oh my gosh, she just took the can. I mean, and when you had a full can of something, ouch, you know? Okay, she made it to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and it took 2 months for the bridge inspections to find Gannon's remains. Oh, that's right. Okay. And I think we're coming up upon that. I think that was about one of the last things that I put in here. I went through a lot of footage today, guys. So my brain's a little bit fried, but I'm trying to kind of, get this good timeline of different events that was happening at that time, and go over some of this court stuff, the first trial really, but kind of intertwine them into some of this news, the news coverage. And again, I will go look at Peter Hyatt because I bet you there's so many good nuggets in there that I could put in. And I bet you there's things that we probably would never even have thought of. So yes, the grief creases between her brows. Thank you, Witchy. Exactly. Look, and even her forehead, like, I mean, I don't know, guys. It just like mom to mom, I hear what she's saying, and uh all that is unseen. Like after we do a couple on Gannon, we'll definitely do some comparisons with Sebastian and these time frames because I'm interested too. She says that's creepy. When were the dates for Letitia saying out and about versus KK? Come on, sleuthers, help a curious girl out. I'll tell you what. Well, here's the thing. I wonder this myself because, like I said, and then you got like Letitia's out there and she can't do an interview without saying, people hate me. People are trying to do this. People are trying to do that. Typically you're trying to take this time to talk about your kids. And this is another thing that, of course, I think Landon and, Al both got support from the community and everybody, but I think it's because of the not guilty factor. And, you know, it's just wild. I want a public apology, you know, but then this with the Letitia, she's like, from my husband. And then she's like, can we do that again so I can fake cry? Like, oh, it's just, that's wild.
And not knowing where he's at, if he's okay, if he's cold, if he doesn't have food. Like, that's a mom's role. And I can't get to him, and you kind of feel like a failure when you can't. And like I said, 3-4 weeks. The farthest I've gone talking to him, not talking to him, is 3 days. And thank goodness for this. Because I hear his voice.
Gannon's voice and a stuffed animal a neighbor made for his little sisters. He has 2 sisters, one 8 years old, another 18 months. He adores them, and they miss him.
Albert asked, he was like, what do you think about Bubba? And she pointed outside and she said, he's alive. So that's what she's holding on to.
A family fighting every day with nothing but faith.
Because this is getting hard. This is getting extremely hard. And I just need him. Send my baby home.
And Landon can't thank the community enough. All the support you're seeing here online, she says it means the world. But if you know anything about where Gannon could be, you are urged to call the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. She is begging you. You heard her with that emotional sound. Just breaks your heart. Anyone that can help, please share this story. Do what you can.
Investigators in El Paso County are still looking for 11-year-old Gannon Stauch. He's been missing for more than a month. His case is still considered a missing persons case. The sheriff said there's no criminal investigation yet. The sheriff's office is asking anyone in the area where Gannon went missing to double check their surveillance cameras.
It was indicated that they had a sighting of him, and that again is a part of the investigation. But I will tell you, after reviewing of the footage, the Come and Go had to put in a ticket, an IT ticket, to get that video footage, and it took approximately 24 hours for us to review the footage. So we were basing that off of an eyewitness.
The sheriff's office is also accepting donations directly now from anyone wanting to donate to search efforts. It's following up on more than 700 tips.
5 weeks now after Gannon Stauch vanished in Colorado Springs, and investigators say the 11-year-old is dead. And this is now a murder investigation. Right now, Gannon's stepmother is in custody.
The arrest comes even though investigators do not know where Gannon's body is. Gannon's mom talked about the disturbing developments.
I'm not in the correct mindset to be even standing up here, but if I had to say one thing, that when he said Gannon is no longer with us, I'd have to say Gannon is with us. After the stories of people from all over the world, he's not only my hero now, he's the world's hero.
So, guys, I remember this, right, like it was yesterday. And I know it's been 6 years. I can't again believe that they're going to put this family back through this. But this is kind of how things were going, right? Where she was finally arrested. And again, they were saying it's not criminal, right? Because they didn't want to tip her off because she is freaking out behind the scenes, right? So wait till you hear what her and Al were talking about. But again, they haven't found Gannon yet, but they've arrested Letitia. And yes, Funchewski, I remember that allegedly Letitia was going to flight attendant school, but had to get Haley back to Aunt Brenda's home in Myrtle Beach, right? Because Aunt Brenda, now we'll meet Aunt Brenda in the jail calls, right? Because she is, you know, one of those enablers, big time.
So I think the community, the positive support from a state that I've never visited other than 2 or 3 times, I'm astounded by the amount of love that's not come from me. It's came from my boy. And never thought I'd be standing here. It's a nightmare. I've had to put trust in the people I don't know. Today, I got the worst news and the best news. Obviously, we know what the worst news is. The best news is that justice will be served. And I'll make sure that justice is served because my boy did not deserve any of this that has happened to him.
Rick Salinger was there in the Springs as Gannon's mother spoke today, and Rick, investigators are determined to find his body.
Well, they certainly are, Karen. This all began when Gannon's stepmother reported him as a runaway. Later, it turned into a missing and endangered person case. And now people have been coming here all day with flowers.
Okay, guys, does that sound familiar at all? Katie originally says, you know, I don't know why he walked out that door, right? So she's essentially reporting, in my opinion, a runaway. And then they go, oh, wait, hold on. Not so fast, endangered, missing, right? So again, I'm not saying that the outcome is the same. I'm just saying these behaviors are off the chains. And if I don't point it out, again, it'll drive me bonkers. So, one thing I also want to point out is what they were saying about the neighborhood. Like, this is his neighborhood. He's got a big sign. They're putting teddy bears out. They lit it up blue for Gannon. Just very sweet of them.
Teddy bears, as this has become a murder case. 5 weeks ago today, it was at this home Gannon Stauch was last seen. And now the woman who reported him missing is charged with his murder.
This morning, just after 8 o'clock a.m. East Coast time, Letitia Stauch was taken into custody in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina without incident by law enforcement officers from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, the Denver and Columbia divisions of the FBI.
A month ago, Letitia Stauch told KKTV in Colorado Springs investigators suspected her.
I asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave.
You are?
I am Tisha Stauch, which is Gannon's stepmother.
Okay, so again, here she is. She's not gonna try to show herself. And after we watch this piece, this incident was brought into trial because of how bizarre it was. So I'll just say that much. But it's interesting to watch. And catch her in a lot of inconsistencies and lies.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make.
Okay, really quick. All right. Oh, geez. All right. So again, this might sound like a female version of Chris Proudfoot, if anybody is familiar with Sebastian's case, which I know you all are. So again, Letitia, whew, guys, this is going to be a wild ride with this one, and I'm here to tell you. But yeah, just all of these same mannerisms, again, all of the same type of thing, coming right out the gate, not talking about the missing child.
Since the very first time, you were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case.
All right, not allowed to talk about anything with the case.
I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and
tries to tell the community how to act, even though they're coming together and they're physically searching for Ganon.
Not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared from the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's.
Oh boy, again, Chris and Katie. Okay, I'll be quiet.
Lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20 some. death threats already. Two, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home, and of course I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, you know, and in doing the investigation, I was told I wasn't compliant. And can I elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yes. So I asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave, and that if I would have touched them, they would have probably, you know, said I still wasn't complying, or said I was, you know, trying to run away or something. But during the interview, I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
Okay, so again, just, you know, poor me, right? My constitutional rights are being violated. She's mad as hell, right? But nothing about how Gannon's been missing. And again, the 27th of the evening of the 27th. So it's been, you know, 4 days, 5 days since Gannon went missing. Unbelievable. Hey, guilty of a crime. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, yes. And I saw that you were covering earlier. I'll tell you, this little project, before I knew it, was 50 minutes long because it was just all the news coverage in the beginning here. And it was like some of these interviews, and I'm like, oh boy, we got we got a ways to go. So Guilty of a Crime says, thank you for covering this case. And I compared this to Katie and Chris earlier today. Girl, you're on point. Thank you. Oh, yeah. See, I got to go check that out for sure. Yes. It's so weird because whenever Chris said he's just a child, you know, I was like, Letitia, you know, because she said that about Gannon too, was kind of downplaying and minimizing some of the things that was going on. So yeah, just so many. And it's like I can't, like, every time I'm like, it's gonna drive me crazy if I don't say it, you know. So thanks for being here. And yeah, KJ Mack is here. She says, ugh, this woman, I know. And this is just the beginning of her craziness, you know. And then I was thinking the Only Hands videos with the Proudfoots is, you know, this is what it reminds me of. When she does this, not looking at the camera. And the fact that it was brought up in court, I found that to be interesting as well, because it definitely speaks to the deception that she's capable of, or that she's tried to pull off. Exactly, all that is unseen. Let me tell you what what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, scolding the public, going off on how we're acting, telling us how to parent. Chris Proudfoot even went so far as to tell us all how to parent, you know, and we're like, oh gosh, that sounds horrific. Like, no thanks. I'm good on parenting 101 from the foot. Yeah, it wasn't 1930 Chicago, for crying out loud. Hey, Coffee, Crime, and Cats. Good to see you. Thank you, Witchy Mama. Oh, I can't wait, seriously, because there's been so many similarities, and it's just wild. I was actually, like I said, I was just watching this case back. I had no idea she was up for appeal or trying to, you know, get a new trial. I had no idea.
And that's why you say that they said then you weren't cooperating with the investigation.
That's why they said I wasn't cooperating at that time. Correct.
And why did you ask for an attorney at the time?
Well, I asked for an attorney at the time because there was one individual, there was two really good detectives. And so I'm not, you know, going to talk bad about detectives, but the tactics they started to get when I would answer questions, they try to, you know, they're detectives. They're supposed to twist. The one main goal is to find Gannon. But during that time, some of those things made me feel uncomfortable the way they were saying things. So I immediately stopped and felt like an attorney would help me with some of the vocabulary and things like that I needed help with, and understanding some of the things that they were asking.
I'm going to shift gears to what has become a huge...
Okay, if you're telling the truth, you don't need your lawyer to help you with the vocabulary, Letitia, though. Like, right? Guilty of a Crime says, Letitia Stauch is evil and a liar. Hashtag justice for Gannon. That's right. Justice for Gannon. And, you know, she really is horrible liar, but also a bad liar. because she's just over here outraged about everything. And it's like, but Gannon's missing and he's been missing out of your care. And I love how the reporter points that out to her too. He's like, okay, so you were the last one with him, correct? And she's like, correct. And I want to bark at the, way everything's going and da 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 da. It's like, oh boy.
Huge online presence of people obviously trying to do the right thing, help find Gannon. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like rumor mongering. Have you seen any of those comments yourself?
We have. And see, that's one of the main things we haven't been around in the public eye, because I didn't want to expose my family to it if all these things were going on. There was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it. And I would never, ever hurt this child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know. But I've cooperated with them, even to the point that we were held with a gun. And my daughter, a 17-year-old who serves our country in the United States Air Force, who has never committed a crime or done anything wrong in her life, was put in handcuffs over the keys that was in her purse so they could take her car.
And they weren't in there.
They weren't even in her car. I mean, in her purse.
And
they were in my pocket.
You originally didn't even know it was the law enforcement officers?
I didn't know it was a law enforcement officer, because when he came out, I guess he was putting his jacket on, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was adjusting and happened to catch me. But I saw the gun and I panicked originally and kind of thought, oh gosh, I got who's this guy? And then once I realized it was the sheriff's office, I was totally okay, but they still had a gun and told me they were going to shoot me. But I was really concerned about my daughter, asking why she was being detained in handcuffs and things like that, when that shouldn't even happen for a child. That shouldn't happen for someone who was standing inside of a store shopping, because we couldn't have any clothes because all of our clothes were here.
Okay, really quick, guys. She's going like a million miles a minute, but also she's in the same sentence talking about how her daughter's a child and how her daughter's serving the country, right? And I know that she wasn't quite, if I remember correctly, she was going into the military, but just hasn't graduated yet. But that was what she was going to be doing, right? But then in the same breath, she's like, you should never do that to a child. Well, we all find out later why she was treated that way, but also because she was probably somewhat of an accomplice, but then again, she rolled on her mom, right? Which I think Letitia acted alone, right? But I think that after the fact, there was, in my opinion, knowledge, right? And when you're involved in something like that, that's an accomplice, and I know, don't come for me, because I mean, her daughter reminds me a lot of my daughter. So I'm not trying to say that it went down incorrectly in any way. I actually can't believe she'd put her own daughter through this again, because I mean, they even asked her on the stand, do you still love your mom? I mean, of course she does. Children love their parents unconditionally. It's sad when we don't see that, or if we see parents that don't love their children unconditionally, it's sad.
If we came here and got clothes, we would be harassed. So she went to purchase some underwear and things like that, and was put in the handcuffs in the store, and then brought out with men with guns. And that's just not okay. They could have approached me and said, hi, I'm with El Paso County. Can I please get this? Instead of the way that it happened.
Well, she's complaining about the way that all went down. It's such an injustice to me. Now, again, she's been talking to this guy for at least 5 minutes and hasn't mentioned Gannon yet. And again, we noticed that with the Proud Feet, that they will just go on and on and on and on until the conversation is, directed that way, or if they're asked point blank, then they're kind of stuck. And in my opinion, that's why they don't go on a lot of these different interviews, right? Unless it's very controlled, because they don't want to be caught off guard with a question and, screw up the answer, so to speak.
I'm just going to check the chat. Doing great. Still got a recording. Still can hear you okay. Okay, yeah, sounds like we're good. Every once in a while, my mic will go out, and I want to make sure that's not going to happen here. Okay. I should try and clarify here. Not necessarily crime rates, but the way that people are reacting online to rumors about you with the search.
Oh yes. Wow. The rumors have gotten so bad. I pretty much have been told at least 10 different ways that these people have these conspiracy theories. I guess they watch a lot of law shows and maybe they have all these theories on how Ganon is dead. And that's what they're saying. So I'm like, why are you saying Ganon is dead?
Okay, this is what's so weird about this. In my opinion, why would you care what any of us have to say? I mean, sure, if we're really getting it wrong or we're really attacking or doing something like that, I can understand someone coming in and saying, you know, I think you're incorrect, or hey, this is how it really is. I would rather somebody do that, right? But in the same way, Letitia is just such a liar. And I also think what Witchy Mama's saying here is a big reason, right? Like, because Landon was staying at her house, right, with Al, because they had like a bunch of family over, right? And then that pissed her off, right? Because she's staying at a hotel talking about how she's having to bum rides from all these randos, right? And she's complaining to Al about it. And I think she did want to hurt Landon. But I think it was even more, maybe she even resented the fact that, you know, that Landon was even staying with them the majority of the time. Which is, again, just so evil, you know? It's just so evil. So, yeah, definitely an accomplice, right? Unwilling. Yeah, unwilling initially as an accomplice. And, you know, maybe she didn't know at first, but then she had to have known after. You know, it's not like she's a little kid in there. And again, we all know what happens during the decomp phases, you know. Ugh. So Letitia knew about Landon, and I bet that if Landon knew of the depravity of Letitia, just like Katie and Chris not giving Sebastian to Seth, in my opinion, yeah, I think it runs really, really deep. And, you know, Katie even said under her breath the one time, like, I wouldn't wish this on my own worst enemy, even Seth, or not even Seth, or something to that effect. And again, I'm not saying there's a certain way that you should act or that one would act, right? Because everybody's different. But I don't know. I just don't see trying to hurt someone worse unless you had involvement in it, right? And they're not wanting to get on the same page, so you're mad at them or whatever. Just my opinion. Because you're not going to want to hurt the other parent. You're hurting so bad, and you can only, you know, you know what the other parent's going through. So why would you want to make it worse unless you had involvement, in my opinion? And we see that here as well. But yeah, very, very hateful. And then she has the audacity to call other people hateful.
He is not dead. We are going to find Ganon. And that's the main goal that we all have. My family has. Just because you haven't seen us, we have that same goal. We've been out searching. My aunt has been out searching. My family has been out searching. We all have been doing that together so that we can protect each other.
Oh, Lord, here we go. Again, just because you haven't seen us out there doesn't mean we're not doing it. Well, I mean, but then again, if you were out there, we would just see you doing it. So it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Again, Chris and Katie.
How does it feel when not only you have a lost child who you are in care of, but then people blaming you for that child not being there?
You know, I'm just ready for Ganon to come home. Most importantly, for him to see his family. But second, I am going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have came out online, for all the things they said that I have done or people have done. I just want everyone to know that we're going to find Gannon. And I love him so much. I've helped taking care of him for so long.
All right. So, again, not exactly what Chris has said in the past, but almost spot on to what he said, right? Like, I want a public apology. When are you guys going to tell me you're sorry for speculating? But really, why are you watching everything we say and do, though? Because that's what a guilty person would do. They'd want to watch what if somebody's hot on their trail, right? They want to see if someone's getting close. That's the reason why they would watch everything and be so paranoid about people commenting, especially small channels. I mean, they shouldn't even be on your radar, really. And again, I get that sometimes people want to see what's being said. I understand that completely. But to that degree, I don't know. KJ Max says these kind of people walk among us. I know, I shudder. I shudder to think it too. When I think of how many are abusing children and haven't escalated yet. Well, and or how many are not even reported. Like that one lady that just, again with these suitcases and these kids, and she just discards her own children. It's unbelievable, and then doesn't report them at all. And again, the fathers have alleged in that case that they wanted their children. It's like they don't even try to find a better solution, which is scary. It is, and they do. I mean, look at that nice neighborhood they lived in too, and all those nice people. It's like, wow, that's my neighbor. Right, little Miss Sharon, that's right. She's right about that. We're going to find Gannon. That's right. I mean, and it has to weigh really heavily. And I think a lot of times when we hear that kind of leakage, when a guilty party, in my opinion, she's guilty, would say we're gonna find Gannon, it's almost like their conscience coming out, because it's got to eat away. Um, it just has to. Either it's a guilt or it's afraid you're going to get caught. And for most of these crazy psychopaths, it is that way. They're just worried about getting caught. They don't care about what they've done. They don't feel bad about it. No regrets type of thing. KJ Max says, yes, it's also that come home statement like KP. Exactly. And Katie does that weird thing where she's like, come home. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And I'm always asking, did Katie get Botox? Because she's never had a worry line or worry brow ever. Never. So.
A little bit about him. I don't know.
Gannon is so kind, and he loves to play video games. That's one of his favorite things. He loves Sonic and Mario, and he's always helpful. And he was always so helpful with the dogs around the house. And we have 2 little cute dogs, and he was always like a person I could say, Gannon, can you go do this? And he would do it right away. Sometimes with kids we have to remind them and things like that, and that's okay. But he was so sweet and able to help anyone. He could notice when you're sick and say, are you okay? And such a kind heart.
I know you just said that you can't say anything about the investigation, so you can just say so again if you can't answer this. But is there anything we can hear about the hike? Was there a hike? That just seems like rumors right now.
Okay, guys, and I'd like to get a little bit more into this hike, because it was like a kind of a point of contention in the beginning. People were chattering about it. But also when it comes to Letitia's statement here, I'm just going to replay it really quick here.
And for so long.
Can you talk to me a little bit about him? I don't know him.
Gannon is so kind, and he loves to play video games. That's one of his favorite things. He loves Sonic and Mario, and he's always helpful. And
he's kind. He likes video games. He's helpful.
Always so helpful with the dogs around the house. And
they got the 2 little dogs, right? He's helpful with the dogs. She mentions the dogs.
We have 2 little cute dogs, and he was always like a person I could say, Gannon, can you go do this? And he would do it right away. You know,
Okay, so she says, Gannon, go do this. She, you know, she likes it if she orders him around, he does what he's told, right?
sometimes with kids we have to remind them and things like that, and that's okay. But he was so sweet and able to help anyone. He could notice when you're sick. And
I just think this statement right here, he would notice when you're sick. I don't understand why a normal stepmom or adult would worry about a child noticing that she's sick. So I wonder if, you know, there was something more to that, because it just seems weird to me. Like, what did she expect Gannon to wait on her hand and foot when she's sick? Or what is this, right? He notices it when you're sick. And I don't know if that was just like an example of maybe one time that, you know, he had brought her some tea or something. I don't know. I just thought that that was weird. Like, I would never think of a child taking notice if I'm sick or not. Just strange.
say, are you okay? And such a kind heart.
I know you just said that you can't say anything about the investigation, so you can just say so again if you can't answer this. But is there anything we can hear about the hike? Was there a hike? We don't. That just seems like rumors right now.
You know what? Could we bring my daughter up here, because she can go and say that, you know, she came home from work after the hike and she can verify that Gannon was at our home.
Okay, yeah, that's fine with me. And if she doesn't want to, that's okay. But you're allowed.
That's fine.
Okay.
So again, she's upset because they're bringing her daughter into the mix, or that the police were wanting to question her daughter as well. But now she's also establishing, you know, some alibis using her daughter.
So far?
Yes, I need Harley. Because they want you to verify was Gannon at home after the hike. Because you didn't go to the hike, but you came home from work.
Right. And instead of saying, Harley, could you please come over here? She says, I need Harley. Right. Instead of her just saying, hey, you know, they would like to speak with you, or would you be willing to answer some questions? No, I need her. Get her over here now.
Do you want me to just say yes?
No, just answer the question. Yes, you came home from work and you can verify Gannon was at home. Yeah.
Damn. And, you know, that's a hot mic, or she wasn't really even realizing that she was on a microphone right there. I saw it hooked up, you know, and then she asked for it back so she could do another version of, you know, whatever this is. But yeah, she is absolutely bringing her over there, and then she's telling her what to say.
I told her she didn't have to be too in depth because she is still, you know, a child. But I want to make sure that someone knows that there's another person to verify that Gannon.
Sure.
Does she need to hold this?
No.
Yes, so I came home later that evening. I was at work, and I can verify that he was there that night.
So there was a hike that you guys went on, but then you guys came home.
Yes.
Where'd you guys go hiking?
Garden of the Gods.
Okay. I guess when.
And then we ate Burger King afterwards. So, you know.
There you go.
Prove it, Letitia. Where's your receipt for Burger King? I want to see the footage. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, really. But again, now she's got her daughter. She brings her over there, and she's saying, yeah, you know, there was. But the question was what was there a hike, right? Did you guys go on a hike? And what she just verified, what Harley comes over to verify, is that she went to work that day, and when she got home, Gannon was at the house, or he was home, right? He was still alive. So again, she kind of skated around that question.
Yeah.
And then it just was, I'm gonna go to play at a friend's house. And then it was just, I'm off to go to play at a friend's house.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to like comment on that anymore. And for that reason is because some things have been turned and twisted. And, you know, that was one of those stories you were talking about where people say things. We had to hear things like who would let their child go out at dark and things like that. And that's just why I don't want to answer that. If I had to give, I'm not going to say that part.
That's okay.
Never mind.
Right.
You can take that out.
I understand that it gets tricky with stuff. Do you feel like I asked you what I need to? Do you feel like this is going to help kind of turn the tide of what feels like a witch hunt, in my opinion?
I hope am I on camera?
You are
okay.
still.
Okay. I think that a lot of people can see that I'm not missing and see that I am being cooperative. But to me, it's okay that they think those things because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon or any of the children in our home because that's
Oh gosh, any of the children. Okay. So yeah, KJ Maxx says his body language says I'm not buying what this woman is selling, right? But I love how he kind of plays the good guy, right? Where he's going, oh well, in my opinion, they're after you like a witch hunt, what say you about that, But he's kind of like seemingly on her side, but you could tell like he's super uncomfortable. And, I don't know. I bet you he's getting very evil vibes off of her, I bet you he could probably sense it just looking at his facial expressions. But, she's talking so fast, a mile a minute. She got her sunglasses on, right? I'd be like, could you at least take your sunglasses off it when you're, talking to me? But then again, it is sunny out. You could tell it is sunny. But still, and yeah, I bet you he just feels those vibes, from her, just that evil radiating off of her.
just not the case. I've spent my whole entire life working so hard in education. There was even things online that was talking about my education license and I shouldn't even be a teacher. And they just didn't know that. Like we moved on a military move and I didn't finish out my contract. So I gave up my license in that state. It had nothing to do with any criminal activity, or any of those things. And it just got blown out of proportion on my professional status, and
Do you feel like these are just internet detectives who think they know what they're doing?
it definitely is. And here's the thing that kind of saddens me. It's like if you're going to talk about someone like that and have a witch hunt out for them, why would you even care like about doing those things? Because this is a child. You're telling me that you're just as mean, you're just as hateful to talk about someone else like that.
Well, I think the problem, Letitia, is that everybody knew that you had involvement, and so they were upset with you about that. So then they started questioning your other credentials, right? It wasn't just that they were trying to see if maybe you had a history of hurting children in the past. Not saying that she did, not saying that she didn't. I'm just saying that at that time, that's why people were looking into her. It wasn't because they were hateful or mean spirited. It was because they were trying to make sure that she didn't have involvement. And you're right. Sasha was. Oh, definitely. Getting into what Letitia has said, the statement analysis, I think it would be really interesting to go into, because she's absolutely using past tense to talk about Gannon. He was this way, right? He liked, using words like that. He would, even as far as when she's talking about how he would help. He noticed, right, when you're sick. Um, yeah, and again, she's not coming off as genuine at all. As a matter of fact, I know that he started asking her questions about this subject, so I can't fault her for answering them. But again, this entire time, she has not mentioned Gannon unless asked about him. And it was very short lived when she talked about Gannon. Now, that's quite the opposite when we see the innocent parents and how they're just talking about the good things about Gannon without even being asked, right? They're just rapid fire shooting it off. She, on the other hand, is playing the blame game because she's guilty, in my opinion.
That's how I feel. Like we should all come together and wait until the end and see what happens because Gannon's going to come home.
Any message for Gannon?
The message for Gannon I have is, Gannon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband. We just wanted.
Okay. So that was the first take, right? Take one, action, right? Letitia, everybody better give me an apology, and my husband too, especially him, the son of a bitch, even though she's guilty of sin, right? And then she's like, can I redo that, right? And again, I'll show you the clip after this. It's wild.
Add a message to Gannon from my family is that we love you and miss you. And we hope that you come home soon. And Gannon, I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay. We love you.
Former KKTV reporter took the witness stand today in the.
And I'm sorry, you know, I know it's a low blow if I'm talking shit on her looks, but I mean, she's got that greasy, raggedy hair, and she would rather show that than, you know, let us see the fact that she's fake crying, right? So she's just unwashed, unbrushed, right? Doesn't give a, flip. And again, people might say, if we didn't know the story, like, oh, she's grieving, and all of that. And I get that. I probably wouldn't have my wits about me. I would just want to find my kid, right? I wouldn't care. But again, we know what we know at this point, and she would rather have the mop than look anybody in the face. And I think that says a lot. And again, the fake crying reminiscent of Katie Proudfoot.
Trial of Letitia Stauch. Stauch is accused of killing her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon Stauch, in 2020.
This is what Spencer Wilson told the courtroom about his one-on-one interview with her 7 weeks before Gannon's body was found.
The thing that was the most interesting to me and why I remember it so much is that I asked, is there anything that you would want to say to Gannon?
Letitia Stauch's answer to that question was played for the jury.
She agreed to that interview January 31st, just days after Gannon Stauch went missing.
Damn, you see this lady right here? Now she's like head bobbing. She's like just days after he went missing, right? Wow. Yeah, she's upset about it, right? She's passionate about what she does.
Any message for Gannon?
Gannon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband.
That is one of the interview clips that former 11 News reporter Spencer Wilson referenced from the stand in court. Wilson told the courtroom when the camera stopped recording, Stauch wanted to redo her message to her stepson.
In this interview, she had told me that she believed he was coming home. She said yes, gave her statement. And I said, okay, we got it. And then she said, what if we did that one more time? And I said, sure, whatever you want. So I went back, turned the camera back on, but this time she was crying when she was not crying the first time.
I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay.
Oh my gosh. And he says she's crying. I don't know. I kind of want to be like, well, were there really tears? Did you witness just even one? And I'll be good if you just say there was one, because I think she's faking.
We love you.
And her demeanor completely changed.
The defense cross-examined Wilson about why Stauch did not face toward the camera for that interview. Wilson said that Stauch was concerned for her safety during that time, telling him that she was receiving threats.
Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats.
Further suspicion was raised through security camera video recorded by a neighbor. On the day Gannon disappeared, he was believed seen with his stepmother.
And again, guys, this came out like February 4th or 5th. And the neighbor made it public and was like, hey, everyone. She left at 10:30, right? Or 10:15, excuse me, and then she came back home around 4:15. But Gannon wasn't with her. He was clearly with her when they left, and they left together, and then clearly not. Not that he could see on the camera, at least. So, didn't Chris Proudfoot say something very similar? Brenda, which one? Which statement? No, I'm just kidding. You guys are going to have to reference the exact scene. There's so many. It's insane. And again, I'm not saying that, everything is the same in this case. It's not. Every case is different. Everybody's individuals. We have different dynamics and all of that. But some of the same ones definitely carry over, and their statements are like, I could just add one in from Chris, add one in from Katie, doing the fake crying on Duchess, and Letitia over here with her mop. It's wild how many similarities. And again, I think it's odd with this camera footage, right, from the neighbors. The neighbors hold the key, and really, Katie Proudfoot, we were speaking of Peter Hyatt, he says Katie holds the key, right? And I think the neighbors also hold the key because Katie is never going to tell, right? Like, I don't know how soon Katie lawyered up, but it was probably very soon, right? And as soon as she does something like that, which she has every right to do, it's still, in my opinion, is suspicious. It raises the eyebrow a little bit and says, okay, you're getting a lawyer, right? But again, you can't hold it against someone. It's smart to get a lawyer, especially if you were the last one with a child and they just went poof. Because again, we've heard it twice in this, you know, mini documentary thing here, but that's just not how things work. Yeah, everyone would need to apologize. Yep, yada, yada, yada. Yes. Yeah. I want a public apology. And your insinuations and your assumptions and da da da. Okay, it's like, well, yeah, but that's what any human being is going to do. And they just don't want it directed at them. See, and it's all about self-preservation for Proudfoot because his little fragile ego can't take it, right? The ridicule. But in the same way, there's reasons why. There's reasons why people are like, how come they're not looking for their child? How come they're not doing any of the vigils? How come they haven't put up flyers? How come they haven't searched? It's very odd. Very odd. And again, the neighbors hold the key to what happened to Sebastian, how he got out of the house that night, in my opinion. And if he didn't make it home, well, either way, where is Sebastian? You know, what happened next? That's what we're still stuck with, you know? So.
Leaving before he was reported missing. Then her truck returns without him.
While we have not yet found Gannon, information has been developed that is helping us narrow our search. As you can see from the arrest, sadly, we do not believe Gannon is alive.
Massive, relentless searches have failed to turn up the boy. Now family members held hands and shed tears. The G-Man, as they called Gannon, was not coming home.
Gannon's stepmother is also charged with child abuse, destroying evidence, and desecration of a body.
Today, I got the worst news and the best news. Obviously, we know what the worst news is. The best news is that justice will be served.
It is some news for a family waiting for 5 weeks. Investigators no longer believe 11-year-old Gannon Stauch is alive. His stepmother is now accused of killing him. The El Paso County Sheriff's Office says Letitia Stauch was arrested in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina this morning. This all began 35 days ago in late January when she told investigators she last saw Gannon leaving his home in Colorado Springs to go to a friend's house. The same day, a neighbor captured surveillance video showing Gannon getting into a truck. No one has seen Gannon since that day, and his body still hasn't been found. Here's 9 News reporter Jordan Chavez.
I cannot stress enough what a difficult time this has been for Gannon's family.
It's what they've feared for 5 weeks. The announcement that Gannon Stauch is believed to be dead.
This person, the stepmom that I even trusted, that she will pay 100% for this heinous thing she done.
Letitia Stauch was arrested on 4 charges, including first-degree murder and tampering with a body.
Okay, guys, she got also tampering with physical evidence. Sorry, I meant to stop that before they switched over.
100% for this heinous thing she done.
Letitia Stauch.
Okay, so tampering with physical evidence, also child abuse resulting in death. I think we need another charge here that says, you know, something about her being in a position of trust, in a position of power or authority. Yeah, I think we need to add those on to Miss Fish Lips over here.
Was arrested on 4 charges, including first-degree murder and tampering with a body, which has many questioning how, if investigators still haven't recovered one.
It's difficult for prosecutors to convince a jury to convict on first-degree murder charges without a body, but it absolutely can be done, as the recent Patrick Frazee verdict proves.
9 years.
And, you know, it happens all the time. They have to have enough circumstantial evidence. They have to be able to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt with a jury. But I think that they could also charge for other things like child abuse.
News legal analyst Scott Robinson says no body means a higher burden for prosecutors, but the critical threshold is showing probable cause.
But that means a lot more than a mere suspicion. You got to have more than just a surveillance video showing the young man getting into his, apparently, into his stepmother's vehicle and not coming back.
Robin.
I know, but isn't that just like, it's crazy though, just thinking that that's not good enough, because where else would Gannon be? Who else is responsible? She either dropped him off to someone else, or, I mean, hello, she knows. She knows. So that sucks. Again, you know, and I think also because in that flashlight video, I mean, we can absolutely see, and this, you know, is being discussed where, you know, is it good enough, right? Is there enough, right? That this isn't enough. They leave with the, you know, we see them leaving with this parent, but the parent comes back solo. That's not enough. So I think it could be. I think it could be, you know, with the CPS reports and different things stacked against the parents, in my opinion, when it's an inside job like this. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Holly. Yeah, she took her anger out on Al to Gannon. Yeah. In my opinion, it's so wrong. Yeah, it's sad. It's absolutely sad. Um it's devastating, and I do think that she should be in trouble for doing that, because I do think Gannon loved everybody, and I don't think he ever wanted anybody in trouble. And again, she is a monster.
And says the fact that there are charges shows it's likely investigators have certain evidence they've yet to reveal, but it also means Gannon's family is forced to face the news they've feared.
My little boy is not coming home. We will never play Nintendo again. No more Taco Tuesdays. No more smooth-looking haircuts. No more Big Bubba for my Lena. And no more G-Man for the world.
Jordan Chavez, 9 News.
Neighbors of the family say that this arrest gives them some sense of relief, although they will not forget Gannon. The neighbors have become quite close since he disappeared. Many have put up blue lights and ribbons as a sign of solidarity. One neighbor, Roderick Drayton, says they are all hurting.
It breaks my heart. You know, you taking somebody's child's life, and just taking a child's life, period, is heartbreaking. But knowing that it's next door, and it's just, I don't know, I don't know the words for it.
Yeah, Mr. Drayton reminds me of Bobby the neighbor, who just keeps on popping up like, hey, by the way, there's a whole bunch of activity going on in the neighborhood. What's going on, right? Women's Warrior, good to see you. She says, well, lady, I don't know how they can give a retrial because she is admitted doing it under grounds of insanity, then proven not insane. So she has admitted doing it and lying about being out of her mind, in my opinion. You know, absolutely. Holly, you know what I'm saying, girl. I feel like I'm getting Bobby the neighbor vibes all over again. if I don't say it, I'm gonna, lose my shit because it's so similar, right? And this man is like, I love this behind him, like, because that is a beautiful thing, right? We need to keep this pressure on it. So, yes, because look, Katie's never going to tell the truth. So we have to figure this out. We have to figure out where they went wrong, or whoever it is. We'll just say that too. Um, so the reason I get what you're saying, women's warrior. So the reason is because she didn't get a fair trial, in her opinion, because the person who was prosecuting the case, their family member, was in the jury. And it is just really a loophole and a technicality in the system, right? Because we're all entitled to a fair trial. We all would want a fair trial. So because of that, she is getting a new trial because they screwed the pooch on the first one. They totally screwed it up. They absolutely, I mean, there are really no words because they did bring it up. They took the risk. They knew well about the risk. They took it anyway, and now here she comes again, as creepy as ever. I'm afraid to see what she's gonna what the fuckery she's gonna pull. I don't even know if I'm ready for all that. He keeps popping up. Even though I strategically put him in the video. No, I'm just kidding. But it does, it gives me strong Bobby vibes. Like, I'm the neighbor. I saw some shit and I'm trying to tell you guys, That's what's gotta be so frustrating in these cases, right? Because I mean, it's really scary too, because I mean, obviously she lived there as well. So if I'm a neighbor, I don't want her coming back to my neighborhood. So I'm right here with the neighbors. Like, okay, how can we get this person in really big trouble? Um, oh, it's just, and like I said, just the same kind of dynamics that we see, patterns.
Drayton says it was his home camera that captured that video that showed Gannon getting into a truck the last day he was seen. He says the neighbors just hope his body will be found.
It is surveillance video that could be at the heart of a child murder case, showing Gannon leaving with his stepmom Letitia. But according to neighbor Roderick Drayton, Gannon is nowhere to be seen when Letitia returns.
I watched the video. I could slow it down, speed it up. I know he didn't come home with her, so I knew something. She'd done something with him or to him.
Drayton.
Okay, so now he's like, I know it. I know it. I know it was, right? I mean, this is normal, right? You're like, he's with her, she comes back, we don't see that poor child ever again, right? I mean, hello. And he's like, I know something is going on here. Gosh, I mean, bless people that are willing to continue, because it is kind of creepy. Like, Letitia's creepy as hell and should probably get her aunt to do some crazy shit to somebody. I don't know. But yeah, he's not letting up.
Started reviewing footage after a knock on the door from the FBI.
Just kept looking through video, hundreds of clips, until I found it.
From the start, as search teams scoured acres of land looking for Gannon, Letitia has maintained her innocence.
A little emotional.
Cassie Brown knows the family.
It's been really tough.
Her son was friends with Gannon. The two bonded over video games.
He really did love Sonic as much as everybody says.
Like many in the Lorson Ranch subdivision, they're showing their respects. Blue is the theme.
He's really a light. He's so happy and so loving.
Balloons and ribbons are hard to miss.
After hearing what happened today, it's just heartbreaking.
As a community prays for a family experiencing tremendous sorrow. And as you can see here behind me, the blue lights on the outer wall here of the Lorson Ranch subdivision as this community continues to remember that little boy.
Aw, that is so sweet, right, guys? Like, this is so sweet. Just the way they all had light bulbs up. Al had light bulbs in his lights, and I mean, it's just, again, I hate to say it again, but we don't see that for Sebastian, which we should. Um, I know she's a monster and she's had time to think of some new defense. Well, yeah, so technically she could walk, which would be devastating. I pray not. And I just read about it and she didn't have to go. Yeah, well, and I mean, I will say that I don't see it. I don't see her getting anything less than what she deserves because I mean, and again, she's gonna try to go the crazy way again, right? And be like, "Oh, I'm so crazy, I didn't know," and that's never gonna work. So again, I'm just worried about what we're about to see here. What are we about to see? And again, I hope they don't allow for her to make a spectacle of herself because she's already done that. I mean, we have a lot to get through. And she's already done that when she's talking to her husband and he's recording it. Um, I mean, everybody was like, she's batshit crazy, but she knew exactly what she was doing, right? And that's always the question that they ask in the courts. Um, yes, would people think this person is nuts because they're hurting a child and they're acting this way, behaviorally, yeah, but I mean, did she know what she was doing? She absolutely did. And they also made it a point to charge her with like the intent of doing it as well. So um yeah, she's getting another roll of the dice that she wanted. Yeah, I know, KJ. I know. I know. Well, and I think, well, it just depends too, because it depends on if they're going to allow for the confession to come in. We don't know what they're going to allow for, or really, it's still so new. I mean, I think it just broke yesterday.
Named Gannon.
The El Paso County Sheriff's Office says human remains found in Florida, they believe belong to Gannon Stauch. He is the 11-year-old boy who has been missing from Colorado Springs since late January. That news is not unexpected, still difficult to digest. The El Paso County Sheriff's Office says it was deputies in Santa Rosa County that found the body in Pace, Florida, 2 days ago.
Pace is near Pensacola. That's the Florida Panhandle. It's some 1,500 miles away from Colorado Springs. El Paso County investigators say the remains have been tentatively identified as Gannon via autopsy. We just heard from the DA's office about all of this.
Right. The DA's office addressed the media not an hour ago. What we heard from the prosecutor in this case against Gannon's stepmom are serious new allegations that charge her with murder in the first degree with intent and deliberation.
Today, I filed new formal charges in the case against Letitia Stauch. Those charges are murder in the first degree after deliberation, a Class 1 felony that carries a potential prison sentence of life in prison without parole.
In addition to that, the prosecutor also said he's filed 8 counts of criminal violence against Letitia Stauch, alleging the use of a firearm, the use of a blunt instrument, the use of a knife or other sharp object, and causing the death of Gannon Stauch.
Okay, and this is where we were talking about earlier, little Miss Sharon. Yeah, it's just so sad. And that's how we know, because of what she was charged with here, and they trumped up the charges too, because they're like, this is especially heinous. And once they were able to locate Gannon, he told them what happened to him.
Investigators are not discussing his manner of death or the circumstances of how he was found in Florida just yet, as the investigation is still ongoing. Gannon disappeared on January 27th from his home in Lorson Ranch. Letitia Stauch was arrested in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on March 2nd, 5 weeks after she first reported her stepson a runaway to authorities. And today, a reporter asked prosecutor Michael Allen if he believed Gannon Stauch was killed in Colorado. Allen said the El Paso County Sheriff's Office would not be able to charge this case if it didn't happen in their jurisdiction. So These charges allege that Stauch killed Gannon here in Colorado and was taken some 1,400 miles to Pace, Florida. Now, Stauch is due back in court on April 14th, and El Paso County Sheriff's Office is asking people if they saw or believe they could have seen Letitia Stauch in Pace or Pensacola, Florida between February 3rd and February 5th, that they please call El Paso County Sheriff's Office tip line. That number on the screen, 719-520-6666. There's also an email that you can send your tips to, but of course, they're very adamant about that time frame, February 3rd to February 5th, either in Pace or Pensacola, Florida. So hopefully we can get that news out there.
And, I just have to say that when she was talking about keeping her family members on the East Coast protected and all of this craziness, it just makes me wonder. So, I left that number in here just in case if somebody, knows information, because obviously she's getting another crack at it.
In case anyone did see anything. Kim, Tom?
Well, there are some answers coming, it seems like, as far as what happened, but your heart turns to that 11-year-old boy, and your mind turns back to his birth mother and father at that press conference on the day they filed those charges the first time, and the emotional impact of such a loss. Lori will continue to follow the story. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys, and this is Landon's full statement that she made. So I wanted to add this in here again. I wanted to make this more about the pleas for and what the family went through. I want people to see, and I know it's heart-wrenching to watch this, but I think people need to know what these people went through, that they're about to have to go through this again, and hopefully they will make it as painless as possible on them, because it's terrible that they're having to do this. Even, like I said, her daughter too, Harley, is also going to have to probably come back and testify, I would imagine. KJ says the usual runaway cover story, The Monsters Among Us. Love that cover story. Yeah, and I think they actually love it when we say that they just disappeared too. Which I hate it, because it's like they didn't, though. That's the one thing we know that didn't happen. But I think they want us to believe that, right? Well, he went to bed and then he was just gone. He wasn't here anymore, she was gone. She wasn't here anymore. Yeah. All that is unseen says more. So because I want fair trials for everyone, what venue can she possibly get an unbiased jury? That's a good question. All that is unseen. What is her legal team thinking? Stupid, in my opinion. I don't know who she has, but she may have had someone that is out for the same reason, right? Sometimes there will be places like Innocence Project that will pick up these cases. So it could be something like that. She could have, Letitia isn't stupid or crazy, in my opinion. She might have read up on the subject, or maybe she was keeping that in her back pocket, knowing that that would be a possible reason to appeal. So, and that's right, Coffee Crime and Cats. No one goes poof, right? We just don't do that. So, yeah. So this is just, again, Landon, and I think Al talks a little bit at the end.
Really, I'm not in the correct mindset to be even standing up here, but if I had to say one thing, that when he said Ganon is no longer with us, I'd have to say Ganon is with us. After the stories of people from all over the world, he's not only my hero now, he's the world's hero. So I think the community, the positive support from a state that I've never visited other than 2 or 3 times, I'm astounded by the amount of love that's not come from me. It's came from my boy. And never thought I'd be standing here. It's a nightmare. I've had to put trust in the people I don't know. Today, I got the worst news and the best news. Obviously, we know what the worst news is. The best news is that justice will be served. And I'll make sure that justice is served because my boy did not deserve any of this that has happened to him. So I urge media one more time just to hold off on questions until we know that this person, the stepmom that I even trusted, that she will pay 100% for this heinous thing she done. And I know that that's going to will be done. So I ask you guys, I beg and plead of you, if you've known or if you see this story, all of you have seen this story, please hold that very close to you. Because I want to live this earth knowing that justice was served for my boy. And I know that you've seen pictures, you've seen stories, you've seen my little man. He is truly my hero. And I'm gladly giving that to you guys too, that he can be your hero. I've heard stories of people that have not prayed in years, that have finally fell on their knees to pray. And I know where my son's at, without a shadow of a doubt. So many families have been brought closer together because of this. I know my boy is special, and I've told my people and my family and friends that Gannon has a testimony, that Gannon has a story. He's special. And this is his story. So make that story magnificent, who my child is. And I'm putting my trust into you guys to do that. So thank you for allowing Gannon to be your hero and sharing him with us.
Okay, guys, so I believe in my heart of hearts that justice is coming for you again, Letitia. Coming for you. So we'll see how it unfolds, but I do think that we're going to see justice twice. And I don't think that her harebrained scheme is kind of what I think of her attempts is going to work for her. I just don't, KJ Maxx says, I worry they think they will just use that claim impossible to get a fair trial. She doesn't want to be in prison as a kitty. Right. Have they refiled charges? How on earth does this work? Well, and I know I'm not 100% positive. I know that there's been some high profile cases, but I don't know how it is in Colorado. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of a deep dive on that because I can tell you guys are equally really just baffled. I mean, I understood it right away, and I know you guys do too, about the, unfairness, right? The bias that was present or could have been. And apparently they think that there was, so that's concerning. Funtuski says Colorado Springs is a heavy military town, and most military soldiers are transferred out after 3-year assignments. First trial in 2023, and the second in 2027 or 8. There would be people who know about Gannon. Yeah, I mean, that is very true, and they better make sure they get it right. And as KJ Mack pointed out, we don't want it to go to that extent, even though I think it also depends on what they will allow for, what it's going to be admissible this time around also, because we know that they can take out different pieces of evidence when there's a second trial. So Yeah, I mean, yeah, refiled. KJ, I'm not objecting to a full refill of extra charges. No, we need more. Like I said, we need to slap her with some more charges. Okay, this will teach you. But no, I mean, they're obviously going to have to handle her with kid gloves. You know, and again, I wish they would have just, recused the juror or, released him, and pulled in another one that couldn't be perceived as bias, right? So, or it couldn't be perceived as unfair on, because again, it's a technicality in my opinion. But a lot of people know nothing about Gannon could move to Denver if they truly worried about people knowing the Gannon story, in my opinion. Yeah, no, and I think you bring up a valid point, that there's a lot of people there in El Paso County, and it's been, well, 6 years since all of this. Yeah, and again, um, even so, for the last trial, it's been 3 years. So we'll probably, and I don't know. They better get her a speedy ass trial. That's all I got to say, because we don't want to give her any other reasons. Um, all that is unseen says, I wish I were younger and I would so change careers. These families are the real brave heroes. How very heart wrenching. I mean, that's the way I look at Gannon's family, the way that they handled the situation. They absolutely went through it like warriors. I mean, nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody's going to do a perfect job, but they absolutely came out there and showed that they love their child and never would ever be okay with this happening. So, I hate it for them that they can't go along peacefully even after what this monster did to Gannon. Do, does spells Jeopardy apply here? I have absolutely no knowledge of what this. Oh, double Jeopardy. Yeah. Oh, okay. So with double Jeopardy, yeah. So you can't be tried for the same crime twice. Is double Jeopardy. So, like, for instance, if there was that movie with Ashley Judd, but I know there's other better, probably smarter examples, but basically her husband set her up, like she murdered him, and instead of um well, and then he was, living his best life somewhere else. But she went to prison and was convicted on it, right? So when she did actually take his life in the movie, right? She couldn't be tried for that same crime again because she had already been tried and convicted and served her time on it. So that's double jeopardy. You can't try convict on the same exact charge or crime. Um, so I know what you mean. I knew what you meant actually when I read it. KJ Mac, no, you're all good. They know about this situation early on, if I remember correctly, or I'm mistaken. They knew before a trial concluded. Oh yeah, they knew, and they were trying to, they deliberated on it and everything, and decided to go ahead and allow for it. So they were well aware of that there was ties and that there could be, perceived bias. So, yeah, I just don't even know why they took the chance. And nobody, I guess, I don't remember anyone talking about this either, because I would think that that would have been a hot button issue. If people would have known about it, it would have been like, get that juror out of there. I mean, that's what I would say. I'd say, why even chance it? It seems like quite the gamble when there's an 11-year-old who deserves what justice is coming for this monster that took his life. Just, again, Gannon's just, living his little 11-year-old life in his little world there, and she comes and takes him out. Um, Sick. I have to research this to understand what what this can mean when a verdict is overturned and vacated, which is my understanding at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing that she's being kept as of right now. I'm not sure. Again, because Colorado law is a little, I mean, everywhere is a little different. So, they knew in the jury with Lori Vallow. Oh, with Lori, section of the juror pool. See, I never even heard about it though. I've never heard about it. Oh, okay, thank you, Funtuski. So Letitia's gonna remain behind bars. Will be moved from the women's prison to jail in Colorado Springs. Okay. Yeah, keep her in there. And please be careful when you're transporting this psycho around. This is an appeal of court proceedings, not being charged twice. Exactly. Yeah, it's an appeal. Yes, exactly. That's right. So thank you, all that is unseen. Yeah. Um, she's basically saying that the first trial was unfair, and so she's appealed that decision. And so now they're giving her that because of that. I mean, it was established that it wasn't an issue then. And so I guess that's one thing that I'm a little bit confused on, because if it was already ruled on, but again, I guess cuz the judge didn't realize that there had already been some precedents set in the past with other cases, right? Case precedents, and he didn't look into that, and they dropped the ball. But yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too, that when the um it's all based on that bias, right, of the juror that could have, had bias, which you would think, if they're the son-in-law of the DA and they work in the same office, then I would say that they would, you know. I haven't followed a single case with a situation like this, so I'm glad to hear she's not walking fun, yeah, or walking free. Funtuski, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I was worried about that myself. I know. I want to go look into it too, KJ Mac, because it's interesting how everything works in different states. Again, becoming familiar with the way some of it works, and then cases do set precedents. So this is really something for the book. Something where it's like next time CYO, cover your own ass. CYA, just cover your backside, because look, she's coming out like, oh, I was treated unfairly, and I mean that's what she was complaining about over and over and over again to anyone who would listen to her, and not talking about Gannon. And she absolutely committed this crime, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, yeah, she'll still be, they're gonna retry her, like, so it's my understanding that they're going to give her a new trial. So of course then there'll be like discovery and all of that. And then they'll be trying to figure out what they're gonna, keep into evidence and that sort of thing. And again, so word on the street is that she is trying to go for the same like insanity plea. Like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing because had a mental break, or, something like that. So yeah, that's the best of my understanding. That in other words, the case hasn't removed the original the charges. No, she's just going to be tried again, but it's because of appeal and not because they're trying her for the same crime twice, if that makes sense. But again, I am interested to know more about this, because it is a big deal. And the fact that it could have been prevented, I think is something that is um just it's wild. It's wild for lack of a better way to say it. I mean, I just never thought that this would happen either. So, um the juror's son-in-law works in the DA's office under Mike Allen. Thank you, Funtuski. I might have said that backwards or wrong, so thank you. And then Funtusi says, KJ Mack, yes, the charges still exist, but I'm unsure because people have moved on. DA Mike Allen is on the ballot this November for Attorney General for the state of Colorado. Not sure about the defense. Oh, okay. That's interesting to note, Funtuski. Okay. So, yeah, and I don't know who her defense is either. I don't know if she has like, a group, like I said, that might have taken her case on or what have you. Just yet. I haven't heard anything either on the subject, so um hmm. Yeah, that's interesting though that he's back on the ballot for November. So, and again, I don't think they've set a trial date for her either. Um, so, but yeah, we'll have to look more into this, and it is quite the rabbit hole. And like I said, as we go through just this timeline of events here, I want to kind of, bring in the trial details from the first trial. Because again, we just don't know what they're going to allow into evidence for the second go round. So I'm also nervous to see that, how that plays out. Hey, butterflies are free to fly. Good to see you. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Because again, I'm trying to think of another case where this has happened. Even, I mean, there's got to be, we could probably look up case law in Colorado and see if anything kind of is similar. I wonder if the prison ladies also get letters. Oh, yeah, from mail. Oh, from the groupie. Yeah, the groupies. That's funny that you call them a groupie. Excuse me. That is so funny. Yeah, they do, to the best of my knowledge. Like look at Gypsy Rose. She got married in prison, right? And then, was released to her husband and, then married her former prison love interest. And then they had a baby. So it's wild. And yeah, like even like Shonda Vander Ark, even um Paul. I was trying to think of what that dweeb's name is. Paul, he's got girlfriends, a couple of them. I've heard the jail calls for, and I'm like, are you kidding? So I'd imagine Letitia probably has a couple of people that like the fish lip pictures and, don't care that she's crazy as, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they don't know about her or something. But yeah, it's weird. And I know a lot of women will go for the guys in there too. So, oh, okay, Funtuski. That's a good idea. Listen to the defense attorney here in Colorado, Scott R., who has a YouTube channel. Scott R. I wonder if I'm subscribed because I do listen to a few of the attorneys, I've subbed up to. So, okay, Scott R. I'll have to look that up. I want to look into I need to go watch Peter Hyatt and what he had to say. I'm interested to know. Very interested to know. So, well, guys, like I said, I was going to be on earlier today, but then I got down this rabbit hole. I think I can probably pull some of that audio in fairly quickly and get another video uploaded for us to discuss next time. But again, I would like to kind of do some more case comparison with Sebastian's case, and also just talk about Gannon's case and um, what was uncovered and what was brought into evidence, what was talked about in the first trial. So I appreciate you guys all being with me today and talking about Gannon and just kind of going back through, um, his story, his timeline of events. So we will kind of continue on with that. Also, I'm still working on a lot of stuff too behind the scenes, and as soon as I get the Discord up, I will put links for that. I'll do like a post for it as well. Um, so yeah, I think that is all that I have for you guys tonight. I appreciate you guys being here, and also, everybody kind of giving out the details of the case. I can tell you guys are, really know this case very well. So, um, I'll work hard to kind of present a really good timeline for us to talk about and just kind of go over some of the evidence. So, thank you, little Miss Sharon. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And definitely go check out Jen's live, guys. I do have next week I'm going to be talking with Jules about joining a panel. We were supposed to do it last week, but then everything kind of popped off. Um, but again, on Zachary Vidal, I'd like to do a panel, just telling Zachary's story and, you know, getting his name out there. His aunt has been doing just an amazing job of keeping his name out there. So yes, absolutely. And I do want to look more into this, all that is unseen. I'm interested to know. And KJ Mac, yes, if you do any research, come on in and share it, because it is very interesting and unexpected. And I'm not sure how the process is gonna go, really. I'm just praying that, like I said, it's as painless as possible on his family and, that sort of thing. So but I'm sure Letitia will enjoy some of the notoriety from her notorious uh, self there. All right, guys. Well, you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys all really soon.